of McCurtain County. Let me go ahead and stop this. And we also, you can see that cylinder popping up, kind of coinciding with the location of this. I'm trying to see if I have any.
And they do have a confirmed tornado on that one. Red River County confirmed.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Okay, east of DePort. I wonder if they meant
Detroit, probably.
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't see that on here. So again, this is confirmed now. So we do have a confirmed tornado here, which is, this is State Texas Highway 27, or is that 37? It's Texas Highway 37. It looks like it'll move fairly parallel to that particular road, and trying to see if I can get any of these roads to pop on. Doesn't look like they will populate in that part of the Arklatex. So again, we will see this cross here midway between Clarksville as well as Detroit.
You do have the communities of Mabry and Batesville. We're going to be very close to that. If you zoom in a little bit more, it'll probably pop up on there. But folks, Mabry and Batesville are going to be very close to you.
Okay, Batesville and Bagwell
just,
too. Probably midway between those two.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah. So McCoy, just a little bit to the west of McCoy is where this is currently located, very close to Batesville. And let's see if we have any other communities. Probably a little bit to the west of Vandalia, and very close to maybe a little bit south of Dimple. But these are all areas where, again, we have a confirmed tornado warning. In other words, a confirmation of something on the ground. Someone has seen a tornado with this particular thunderstorm, which has ramped up dramatically as far as its presentation with the velocity view of the radar, and put this into motion, and you can see that where this has been here in the last hour and how things have kind of ramped up. So this is the area of concern right now.
And
let me
maybe seeing some debris with that now. It does line up with where it would be, so it may be detecting some debris there on radar, which would confirm. We already know there's a confirmed tornado, but would confirm that maybe doing some damage as well.
And so that would be this area of green. You can see how that matches up. So basically on this particular product, and let me stop this. On this particular product, the radar knows what rain looks like, knows what everything normal weather looks like, okay? When it sees something that's not the right shape, it's looking at shapes, it produces a product and highlights those areas. And basically that is a tool to find where we do have perhaps debris in the atmosphere. And Josh, how far is that up? You can look more easily than I can.
Yeah, it would be about, it's just over 9,000 feet there, so that would indicate that that's pretty far up for debris to be lofted, so that would indicate likely that we do have a strong tornado there as well. Strong
tornado, and again, I asked Josh how far up because of the Earth's surface. Okay, the radar goes out in a straight line. Of course, the curvature of the Earth, the farther you get away from the radar, the beam hits the storm higher off the ground. So 9,000 feet is how high the radar is hitting the storm here, which again is just west of Clarksville, basically midway between Clarksville and Detroit. So it looks like this debris right here is associated with a tornado which is just west of Batesville, and is more than likely going to pass maybe a little bit east of Bagwell, close to Dimple, and then eventually up towards Ackworth, and we will eventually see this cross the river and move into McCurtain County. So this is, again, what we're looking at here is debris. Basically the radar is seeing not weather stuff in the atmosphere, and that's can be used as a tool to confirm a tornado, and that's being this far away from the radar indicates that this could be a decent sized tornado as well. Let me show you where this is going to be going. Again, crossing US Highway 82 fairly shortly here, and during the next hour we will see this. This is the area of concern here, so you can kind of see the track that it's going to take right at the beginning. So it's right here right now. It'll pass very close, could pass very close to Idabel, Broken Bow, and maybe a little bit to the fairly close to the Broken Bow Dam. is where this could go in the next hour. So this is, you can see the red box has changed to purple, indicating that we do now have a confirmed tornado there in that particular part of Red River County, which will soon move into McCurtain County. Don't have a tornado warning yet. This thing could weaken, but I'm just telling you that's the time frame that it's going to be arriving here in the next 45 minutes to an hour. It will arrive.
And I think we do have a pretty intense hail core developing just north of the rotation on that one as well. So
right
one of those things, you'll get hit with the hail, and then the area of possible rotation will cross very close to you as well.
And that's true, Josh. And one of the things, you get the hail and then it stops, and then you get the the tornado. So let's show the size aspect of this and see if I can get a picture of this again. Earlier it was showing, so that's 2-inch hail is what the radar is indicating. So we're talking golf ball size. Definitely very well could be associated with this tornadic thunderstorm right now there in McCurtain County. Let's go back to the velocity scan and give you the latest on this one. And you can see that it has crossed Highway 82 and is going to continue to, this is Texas Highway 37, and it looks like it'll cross Texas. I'm waiting for some of those communities to come on. Very close to Dimple and Negley. Those are smaller communities that this tornado is going to come very close to. So if you live here in the northern sections of McCurtain County, Manchester, north of Clarksville, close to the Red River here between Brierley and Manchester, you need to be in your place of safety. Let's go back down to the south. Again, we do have another possible tornado here, which is in.
Fire department confirming they have a wall cloud that is rotating with that one, but nothing confirmed on the ground yet. But they are seeing a lot of rotation with that one.
And where was that fire department, Josh, they say?
That would have been from the report earlier as it crossed over Highway 154 near Rosewood.
Yeah, that would be when it was down here. So we have no confirmation as of yet, but as Josh just mentioned, we had a report of a wall cloud from that. That is, again, this is the Upshur and Camp County line, and so you can see where this could be going here in Camp County, probably passing a little bit south and east of Pittsburgh, and then we'll see it move up towards Omaha and perhaps a little bit east of Cookeville there in Texas. So this one as of right now is not confirmed, but you can see we do have one of these cylinders showing up on the radar, and that's often an indication of something that is going to, that something is developing and very well could eventually touch the ground. Let me let's go to the national view, and we've been focusing on the storms that are in our area, and I want to zoom out and show you the overall picture as we wait new radar data to come in. It looks like we're starting to see that last line develop a bit more. Put this in the motion here. So we have these cells that are off by themselves, these discrete cells, which in nights like tonight, they often do produce tornadoes. And then we have the line itself. Notice that we don't have any tornado warnings within the line. This probably going to pose a wind threat more than anything in the line itself, but it is possible that we could have some brief spin-ups within that line. That also often happens. You can see one of those. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I say, Todd, we don't like to report this, but it looks like in McCurtain County they are confirming some damage there that would probably be near Batiste and Pickens. Unfortunately, it looks like one injury, but we know there was a confirmed tornado, likely a large tornado there. So, as we take these warnings pop up tonight, we're taking these very seriously because we do know that these will likely be causing a lot of damage, and we just urge everybody just stay off the roads tonight, stay inside, and just kind of wait these things out and make sure you're in your place of safety. Also, if you're in a mobile home now, you're under a tornado watch and you can safely get somewhere else, make sure you do that as well, because these storms are likely putting down some very, very high wind.
That's true, Josh, and even the straight line winds, we're talking straight line winds 70, 75 miles per hour can do damage to mobile homes. As I wrote in an article that I posted on our website a while back, now's the time, actually yesterday was the time to call the neighbor, the relative, hey, can we come over until these storms pass? Do not leave after a tornado warning is issued. That's too late. You have to do it actually now. If you live well west of these thunderstorms, you may have some time in southwest Arkansas, East Texas, northwest Louisiana to call your neighbor or your relatives. If you live in a mobile home, say, can we come over until these storms pass? Good idea. That way you don't have to worry about it. And chances are, because with tornadoes, it takes a strong tornado to do significant damage to a normal wood frame structure, but the weakest of tornadoes can totally destroy a mobile home. That's why many, if not most, of injuries and or deaths that are tornado related occur in mobile homes. All right, so
go
ahead.
Just following our got a new scan in on our storm in Red River County. I know you had mentioned Dimple earlier, that we can still see that there is debris there, so likely a strong large tornado on the ground that's going to be crossing Highway 37 very close to the Dimple community. So if it does keep on that track, it would eventually make its way up towards some of the other communities there. There's Ackworth, that would be very close to it, Greenwood as well. Then it will be crossing the Red River into McCurtain County. So those would be the areas in Red River County that would be in line to see this potential tornado or likely tornado here in the next 15 to 20 minutes.
All right, so this is the location of our debris right now, and so it is a little bit south of Dimple. It looks like it's a few miles to the west of Vandalia. As Josh mentioned, moving to the northeast. So we have, this is the debris, and you can see the arrows telling you where this is going to be going. So let me zoom this back in. I know Ackworth, Greenwood.
Yeah, this is going to be very close to Idabel. So
yes,
if you're anywhere between Dimple and Idabel, it is heading, I mean, this is heading, it's 20 miles from Idabel. So we know it'll probably be there in what, 20 to 25 minutes. So you've got, time to get to it.
Yep. So again, we mentioned Idabel and even Broken Bow. I mean, it's going to come, you can see if those lines continue, it'll pass fairly close to Broken Bow as well. So Idabel, Broken Bow, and let's go downstream further. You can kind of get a sense of where, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but these are areas where this could be headed here. So even though you don't have, as of yet, a tornado warning here for McCurtain County, this is a tornado, and that is headed your way. So Idabel, Broken Bow, and again the smaller communities here in northern Red River County, Ackworth and Dimple are in line to be impacted by this particular thunderstorm. Just while I have this product up, see if we have anything suspicious with the rest of them. I don't see that matches up too well. Let's see how this area, yeah, actually it does. So it's possible that we may have something on the ground here with this one too. You can kind of see our rotation right here, and you can kind of see what I was looking for to see how this area matched up to that rotation. So it is possible that this could be debris associated with the tornado on the ground, although nothing as of yet has been confirmed. So again, that would this one would be a little bit to the south and west of Holly Springs. So again, we're looking at this being about 6-7 miles south and west of Holly Springs. Again, this very well could be debris associated with this rotation. And watch how, as I click this over, how it is fairly close to that. Not an exact match, but again, we do have a rather significant rotation associated with this cell, which is now moving into Camp County. Will come very close to Quezon and eventually up towards Omaha, Naples, and if we project this forward, eventually maybe fairly close to New Boston. All right, so let's go back to our storm here. Again, this is one where we do have confirmation, and it looks like it's about ready to cross Texas Highway 37. See if we have any streets that pop on here to kind of give you, so it's very close to Dimple right now, and it does look like it will pass close to Greenwood and Ackworth. Vesey, probably a good idea if you're not already in your place of safety, may pass a little bit to your north, but that is also a place that's in play. And again, this is a confirmed tornado. You can see the rotation here. Let me switch this over to the debris detector, if you want to call it that, and this shows us See how that matches up right underneath that cylinder with our confirmed tornado here, which is north of Clarksville near Dimple, and is eventually going to move up towards Idabel. So while I have this here,
yeah, just looking at the timing, assuming it's still moving at about 45 miles per hour, that would put it close to Idabel at about 6:54, and then Broken Bow just after 7:05.
So let's show that here visibly, and you can kind of see there's the storm here. So we'll start. It's right here now, trying to get us in. So yeah, a little bit before 6. And this is about 7:30. It's up actually further than that. It's moving into Arkansas here and out of McCurtain County. But you can kind of see in the next hour the progress that this is going to be making near Idabel, near Broken Bow, maybe a little bit south and east of Hochatown and Broken Bow Lake, and then up towards Polk County here in western Arkansas. So that is the potential motion of this particular storm. So this is the storm in question, and you can see the potential path that it could take if Futurecast is correct on that one. Let's show you the same thing with this cell here. You can see Omaha, and within the next hour it may come fairly close to New Boston. So again, this takes us out an hour, takes the last couple of scans of the radar, gives us a 1 hour forecast, and shows where these storms could be here during the next hour. And you can see the progress that the storms that are further to the south are going to be making. Again, we could have a cell in the next hour and a half or so that is now well to our southwest move into Rusk County. So we're going to start to see the impact here in the middle part of the evening further to the south and east. Again, in Texarkana, if you're just tuning in, it looks like about 8, maybe 9. We'll see the worst of it there. Shreveport 9, 10 o'clock-ish is what we're kind of looking at as far as things picking up for this particular part of the Arklatex. So let's switch this back over to the Shreveport radar, and again take a look at the latest here with the where we could be looking at debris. And it still looks like we have a pretty good debris ball indicated here, probably very close to Dimple. Trying to get so. It looks like it's a little bit to the west of Dimple, midway between Dimple and Vesey. And you can see the motion that this is going to be taking. It looks like it's going to pass very close to the Ackworth community. This is the Red River. And then you can see that it will probably pass very close to Idabel. You folks in Idabel, watch this one very, very closely. As Josh mentioned, we're probably looking at it about an hour, half an hour from now. Moving into that part of McCurtain County.
And I would say that one may be turning a little bit to the right as well. So even past Idabel, you have Redland, and then Hayworth, if you're in those communities as well. We'll be keeping an eye on that one, but will be interesting to see where the next tornado warning is. I do think it's maybe turning just a little bit. Yeah,
you can kind of see, Josh mentioned the turn. Notice the last scan. If you track it, you can see a little bit of a blip further to the right. So that could be indication of that right turn that we sometimes see with these strong thunderstorms like this, which could be good for Idabel, but you would get the hail part of it. But nonetheless, you're not out of the woods yet. And even you folks just north of Brierley need to keep an eye on this one too. Let's go back to the south to our storm here, which is in Upshur County, moving into Cass County. Don't see anything that screams confirmation as far as the debris signature, but we do still have again a very strong rotation, which is here in Camp County, I should say. Looks like this is going to come very close to Ebenezer, and let's see if I can get some of the rows to pop on. Ebenezer looks like it's going to come cross into perhaps Morris County, or this would be Titus County near Roeder, and then up towards Quezon, and then up towards Omaha. So this is the location of this. And while I'm here, let's take a look at this BTI number. And if you have your Arklatex Weather Authority app, you get the alerts with these storms, and it does contain that BTI number. Now, how you read that number is that what you're looking for is what we look for is rapid increases in that number and when it crosses a certain threshold. So let's take a look at that number, and actually let's do it with this one. This is a little bit cleaner view of that. And basically, if it's below 2, no need to worry about it. What we've noticed here in our part of the country is that when it gets above 4, that's when we start to see the chances of seeing a tornado go up. So that 4, 5 especially is the range where you likely will have eventually some bit of tornadic activity. Again, that information is available within the Arklatex Weather Authority app on those alerts that you get with the app. So again, the newest information just now coming in. You can see this possible tornado, not yet confirmed, is a little bit to the north and west of Holly Springs. Here's our basically the rain moving away from the radar towards the radar. This is where our possible tornado is currently located. You can see some of the estimated times of arrival here. Case on about 6:53. It looks like Cookeville about 7:04. Probably passing a little bit south and west of Cookeville about 7:04, and probably shortly thereafter there in the Omaha, Texas area, as that is just based on this orange arrows where this particular cell could be going. So let me clean that off of the map here and clean that off and go back up here to our Red River County storm and soon to be McCurtain County storm. We do have another tornado warning that has been issued for McCurtain County. You can see that it is confirmed, a confirmed tornado warning. We know there's something on the ground here. This is in effect until 7:15 for McCurtain County. All right, 7:15 for McCurtain County. As we'll see this very soon cross the Red River. As of right now, let's go back to the view of, look for that debris signature and see if it's still visible. Very, very clearly visible. So this is, again, just south of Greenwood, near Ackworth is where we have our tornado on the ground here. And again, if you follow these arrows, you can kind of see it is going to come very close to Idabel. Let me zoom this out and see if we still have that right turn being evident here with the radar scan. And so you can see that just very subtle. So it does look like it is going to just very, very subtle. So you can kind of see the path this is going to take and where it's going to be going. In fact, there is a product here which shows us shear in path. So you can kind of see the path that this shear is taken. You can see that course. This is where it's been in the last hour, and if you just project that forward, you can see that it will come very close to Idabel, and then maybe south and a little bit east of Broken Bow, between there and Eagletown. As Josh mentioned, even you folks here in Redland will need to keep, and even Hayworth, keep a close eye on this. Again, this tornado warning does include Pleasant Hill, but it does look like it's more than likely going to stay to the north of Pleasant Hill and that part of the Arklatex. But still, as we've been talking about, this is purple because this right here is what we call a debris ball, which is, in other words, debris that the radar is seeing. And as Josh mentioned several minutes ago, back when it was further to the south and west, that debris was detected by the radar 9,000 feet off the ground. So that kind of shows you that we have a potentially strong tornado, which is just about ready to cross the Red River and move into McCurtain County. So you can see Brierley here. See if we can get Ackworth to pop on. It is very close to just move through the Ackworth, Texas area, and is moving across that part of the Arklatex. And you can see this is Boss Road. This is Boss Road, just southwest of Idabel, and you can kind of see how far that is away. So let's do a quick storm track here with this, and I'm going to do it fairly narrow. So I want to do it on my own. I'm going to stop this. This is not something, I'm going to take it fairly, maybe a little bit. I'm going to clear that off. I've got to grab it again. Yep, I'm out of practice. It's been since spring since I've done this. All right, so We know it's moving at 45 miles per hour, so you can kind of see the where this could be going here in the next 45 minutes. And so you can see it looks like, as Josh mentioned earlier, 6:54 is when, in fact, that's the exact number that Josh mentioned, that we will see this move into the Idabel area. It looks like the path that I've drawn, it'll pass a little bit south and east of Broken Bow and a little bit west of Eagletown. So this is where this could be going here in the next hour, and probably will pass north of DeQueen, even north of Gillum, and up towards Wicks there in Polk County is where that could eventually end up going, assuming it continues the path that it is currently taking, and we don't see the continuation or acceleration of that turn to the right that Josh pointed out earlier. Again, as far as the storm here in Camp County, let's show you the latest on that with pinpoint Doppler, and you can see the velocity scan here showing us the rain towards and away from the radar. We have this particular thunderstorm, which is north of Holly Springs, going to be approaching Quezon. So far, we do not have confirmation from anything touching down or being seen from this particular cell, hence the red tornado warning box and not purple. But we do have this cylinder, which indicates that there is a great deal of rotation still associated with this particular cell, and you can see that it is now crossing over the far southeastern tip of Titus County, and will pass near Quezon and then move into Morris County, and should go up close to maybe a little bit south of Omaha, and eventually pretty close to Naples, Texas. Let me do a quick storm track on that one as well. I'm going to do the traditional fan on this one. It'll be a little bit easier to draw. So take this out. We'll go about 45 again. So this kind of gives us a sense of where this could be going. So Quezon 6:45, and pretty soon Omaha, it looks like about 15 minutes for you. Naples 7:02. Sims, it could move into that part of the Arkansas. Again, Sims right about in here. And Maud 7:27 probably will pass west of Maud over towards Dalby Springs. This is Sims. This is Dalby Springs. You can see 7:15. We'll see it cross into the southwestern sections of Bowie County. So you folks in Bowie County, New Boston, Malta, maybe even DeKalb, we'll need to keep an eye on that particular storm here for its movement into your part of the Arkansas.
Just watching a few storms that are just south of that one, you can see there is another tornado warning, not yet in the Arklatex as of now, not in our viewing area, but we'll be moving up very close to Gilmer here probably in the next 30 minutes.
Well, let's project that forward, Josh. In fact, let me zoom this out, and what I'm going to do is show these three possible, one tornadic and the rest of them possibly tornadic, and let's show you where these could go in the next hour. So you can see the motion of these thunderstorms moving forward. This one will move up into, pass very close to New Boston. We have this one, which will pass close to Idabel and a little bit to the east of Broken Bow Lake and Broken Bow. And then we have this. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, tornado emergency for Idabel.
Tornado emergency. Okay.
So likely large, violent tornado on the ground headed right into Idabel.
All right. So this is something that I don't think we've had a tornado emergency.
I can recall maybe one.
Okay.
And that's it.
So a tornado emergency for Idabel, Oklahoma. That is for a potentially large and violent tornado, which is now going to be very soon moving into the Broken Bow area. So let's switch this over to show you, first of all, the debris signature. And the fact that we can see this far away from the Shreveport radar tells you that this is a strong tornado. And it has to be an EF2 for this.
Yeah, that's up to 10,000 feet, if not higher.
So this has to be, there's certain thresholds where they have to meet in order to, they don't want to issue tornado emergencies for every little bitty tornado. It has to be confirmed, and it has to be somewhat large, and that's definitely going to be the case. So
and headed into a populated area as well.
Headed into a populated area. So This is, let's see if we can zero in on the location. This is where we have debris. Now keep in mind, this is where the radar is seeing the debris well off the ground. Doesn't necessarily mean where the tornado is now. It's just where the, but it's close to it.
And Idabel's right over the hail core right now, so I know in Idabel it's getting very loud. The circulation that we're watching is still a few minutes away, so what you're hearing right now is the hail. May get a little bit of a break, and then the tornado will be coming in right behind that. So make sure you are in your place of safety. Just to refresh, if you're in the house right now, if you're in a 2-level house, get down to the bottom and put as many walls between you and the outside. We're talking about the debris that gets lofted by.
True.
That's usually what causes the injuries. So you can imagine a tree branch coming through the wall. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible.
All right, so let's, that's the debris. Let's take a look at the rotation aspect of this. And so it does look like here is our tornado, which is going to soon be crossing Boss Road on the southwest side of Idabel. And it is moving to the north and east. So this is, it does look like it's going to make a direct hit on the Idabel area, hence a rare tornado emergency that is currently in effect for Idabel because of this rather large, probably at least EF2 tornado, although that has not obviously been confirmed
yet.
And
I can get some of the roads to pop up on there. We need everybody in Idabel in their safe spot right now because we're talking about a lot of debris that's likely getting lofted around, but you can kind of see Boss Road there is where it would be crossing at the moment here, and it's definitely going right into the downtown area.
Yep, so Seminole Road is soon the southwest loop moving close to downtown. And looks like this is 5 South Avenue. I don't think the smaller roads are going to be, oh, there they are. So kind of see South Van Buren Street, Southwest Quincy, Southwest Madison, right into the heart of Idabel. This would be 259, I believe, as it, or actually 259 is back over here. This is 70 as it comes across. So again, this is the tornado itself moving into the southwestern sections of Idabel, likely producing a great deal of damage in that particular part of the Arklatex here. Here's where our tornado is currently located, and in the next couple of minutes we'll see it move across Idabel and continue to progress, probably crossing US 259 a little bit west of town. And here's Broken Bow. You folks in Broken Bow, it looks like it may pass a little bit to your south. So if we assume that these arrows are correct, you can kind of see some of the locations where the center of this could go. So we are looking at southeast Washington. This would be southeast North Avenue, southeast, or N Avenue, southeast J Avenue, south Central Avenue, and then Lincoln Road. So this part of Idabel, actually anywhere in Idabel, it looks like we could be looking at the location moving.
And the Weather Service is saying that they have 3 confirmed tornadoes on the ground. So the storm that would be down by Quezon right now, I believe, hasn't been confirmed on the radar yet, but they're saying confirmed tornado there, and also
see the debris ball.
Yeah, do you see it now?
Yeah,
there you
very
go.
Clearly.
And we've got another confirmed tornado that's coming into Big Sandy. That is the one that's going to be headed up towards Gilmer. So everybody in Gilmer, confirmed tornado to your southwest, need to be in your place of safety now. And we also have the storm near Quezon and Dangerfield that is going to be moving up towards Omaha as well as Naples. Confirmed tornado. So those of you that have been watching the coverage of what's going on in Idabel, same exact situation with these other 2. And
again, a pretty good debris ball here, and you can see some of the roads. This near Edwards Road, Sprague Road. This looks like, can't quite, Wise Circle, if I'm reading that correctly on the radar here.
Is that, which one are you looking at there?
This is the one near Quezon.
Gotcha, yeah, that's going to be crossing, Wise Circle right over Highway 49.
And then it probably moves up, here's Rocky Branch. It probably moves up towards Whitmore Road, Young Road, Rocky Branch, you know, just be on the safe side, and then further to the north, Omaha, Naples, both locations eventually in the path of this thunderstorm. In fact, let me zoom this out.
And if you are just joining our coverage here this evening, the tornado that was in McCurtain County, not the one near Idabel, but we had a storm earlier, did cause some damage. We know there's been some injuries with that one as well. So yeah, please take these warnings very seriously tonight.
This is one of those nights, yes, that most of the warnings that we have probably will be associated with eventually a confirmation. And you can kind of see here the path. Notice that we don't see much, but clearly in the last scan as this crossed into Morris County that we do have a debris ball, and this is moving probably close to south of Omaha up towards Naples. So you can kind of see the path that this is going to be taking right along this line. So that is where, and it is going to be crossing Texas Highway 49 very close to Wise Circle. That's, in fact, there it is right now, the latest location,
yes,
right over Wise Circle there, crossing Texas Highway 49. And again, another, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, while you stay on that one, that's probably the most impressive one that we have on radar right now, but that storm that we've been watching in McCurtain County, it is right over Idabel right now. So we've been talking about folks in Idabel need to be in your place of safety. You'll notice this is going to continue to head to the northeast. This is going to be way too close to call for both Eagletown as well as Broken Bow. We do believe it may pull a little bit to the right, but this is going to be too close to Broken Bow as well as Eagletown, and likely will stay to the east of Redland. But in all of these communities that we just listed off, we know there's a lot of smaller communities in here that may not be popping up on the map, but you know where you live. Please, in these areas, get to your place of safety. Again, we likely have a large violent tornado on the ground in those locations, crossing over Idabel right now. So in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we'll be heading up towards Broken Bow as well as Eagletown.
Thanks, Josh. And looks like they're continuing the tornado warning southwest of Gilmore, as you just mentioned. They indicate, as you just pointed out, the tornado moving over Idabel as we speak. And again, this right here is the most distinct debris signature that we have on the radar, just crossing Texas Highway, I believe that's 49 there in Morris County. Omaha, Naples, see if we can get some of the other communities or roads to pop on here. This Whitmore Road, Young Road, see if I can get some of the smaller fonts. They get smaller as I zoom in. I can't see State Road, so we're getting close to Omaha. That kind of gives you an idea of where this confirmed tornado is going to be going. So Omaha, Naples, eventually up here in the far northeastern corner or northwestern corner of Cass County. Probably we'll see this move west and north of Marietta, Sims, New Boston, perhaps Maud, Hooks. You can kind of see this is the storm where this could be going, especially New Boston could be in line for this particular thunderstorm. Let's go back up to Idabel, Oklahoma, where we do have, again, a tornado emergency that is currently in place. This storm has a history of producing, again, a tornado which has been on the ground since it's been moving across it. We had a very defined debris signature as it crossed the Red River and has been approaching the Idabel area. And it is going to, as Josh just mentioned, we will see this gradually move off towards the north and east. Josh, I need you to take over. I lost my juice in my clicker, so.
Oh, not a problem.
Yeah.
I've been just kind of keeping an eye on all the storms. So if you're watching the one in Idabel, I've been watching the ones in Texas and just kind of going back and forth. But just to recap of what's going on right now, let me zoom out. We've been kind of focused on these storms. Wanted to give you an overall look at things while we wait for some more data to come in. But you can see the two confirmed tornadoes that we are currently dealing with, where you have the flashing purple boxes right here. Again, the storm that's moving up and through northeast Texas. Also have that storm in McCurtain County. There are two more storms that we are keeping an eye on here. One of those will be moving into Gilmer shortly. Nothing confirmed with this, but this storm is doing the exact same thing that all of the other tornado warned storms have done tonight. So no reason to believe that this will not at some point spin up a tornado. And again, this will be heading up towards Gilmer. So we're trying to give you as much heads up as possible, and then eventually down to New Mountain. New Mountain not in the warning right now, but will likely be in the next warning that is extended. And again, this fourth storm that we're watching back towards Tyler, that's in Smith County, Texas, not in our viewing area, but this is going going to be riding right up on the tails of the other storms. So it's possible some of these areas where you're currently dealing with a tornado warning, you may have to deal with another one coming in right behind it. But obviously the two most serious situations that we have right now, two confirmed tornadoes on the ground, one of those now moving up towards Omaha as well as Naples, still seeing very strong indications that that tornado is still on the ground there. And also wanted to take you up into McCurtain County and take a look at that storm, which has just crossed over Idabel. Very difficult to see anything as far as debris, but we know there's likely still some debris with this storm as it has just gone through Idabel. And if we do have that debris, kind of circled it right there, is likely going to continue to move to the north here. So again, I mentioned folks in Broken Bow as well as whereas Eagletown, those will be the next two locations in line. And this is actually going to be very, if it does pull a little bit more to the right, you can see it will be very close to Redland as well. So just kind of waiting to get some more information on that particular storm, but just an overall recap of everything else that is going on. Folks here in Arkansas, we have some rain. Also have some rain in the Shreveport Bossier metro right now. None of that is severe. We're still a few hours away from seeing these storms into likely Marshall, Shreveport, as well as Texarkana, but we do know the storms now moving through Red River and some of those about to cross into Bowie County as well. So you've got just an hour or two before we really start to see these storms move into Arkansas as well as the Texarkana area.
And Josh, Weather Service saying they have the confirmed tornado crossing U.S. Highway 259 between Omaha and Dangerfield.
That would line up with what we were thinking as well.
Exactly. That would be the Morris County storm there in that part of the Arklatex. You can see on Josh's picture there the debris ball, which is again debris signature south of Omaha, hence the purple box instead of red box. That means there is a tornado on the ground. You can see it is headed more than likely right towards Naples, Texas. So you folks in Naples, Texas, same thing as Josh mentioned with Idabel, get to your place of safety. Debris is your enemy in situations like this. And obviously what you're looking there, that big speck near that cylinder, that is debris, stuff that's flying around in the air. And again, we're probably looking at it moving at a pretty good clip. And when it strikes your house, obviously, if you're next to a window, it's bad. So we want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And that would apply to Naples, Texas, here in the next couple of minutes.
Yep, would agree, and looks like that warning is going to be up towards Sims as well as New Boston. The volunteer fire department in DeKalb saying that they have opened their shelter there, so folks in DeKalb that are kind of familiar with that storm will be there within the next 30 to 45 minutes. The way it looks right now, it is going to stay just to the east of the DeKalb area, but keep in mind we do have a few more storms on the heel of these, so if you do live in a mobile home, you're looking for a more sturdy or secure shelter there in the DeKalb area. They have opened up their shelter at the volunteer fire department, assuming you can get there safely in the next 30 minutes or so, but the storms will be coming up rapidly behind that as well.
All right, if we can switch back over to, let me show you, first of all, I want to spend, obviously we've been chatting about the storms as we should be that are impacting parts of the Arklatex right now. As we wait for more information to come in, again, we have the tornado emergency. The storm just passed through Idabel, and we have a strong tornado more than likely approaching Naples, Texas. Let's talk about the rest of the Arklatex here very, very quickly and kind of give you a sense on when the rest of us will be impacted by these thunderstorms moving forward. Probably here in the next couple of hours, things will go downhill in Texarkana. We're looking at it arriving, at least starting to get bad in Shreveport later this evening, 9, 10 o'clock. And then we'll see the shift towards the east as we head towards midnight, and the storm should depart the Arklatex after 2 a.m. So that's what we're looking at as far as the timing, just to keep the rest of you up to date on what we're looking at as far as potential timing with these thunderstorms. Let's zero in on the storm here in McCurtain County. Again, we did have that rare tornado emergency. Don't see those very often, but we have a strong tornado that likely just passed through Idabel and is now more than likely going to pass a little bit to the east of Broken Bow, as far as its location right now, you can see this is Highway 259. See if we get a road. It looks like Washington Street is, and the intersection of Washington Street and 259 is where that is currently located. Again, moving towards the northeast. It does look like this may pass a little bit to the south and east of Broken Bow, but it will perhaps get closer. This part of McCurtain County here. This is Highway 70, I believe, as it makes its way from Eagletown into Broken Bow. So this is Highway 70, and again, near Tyner might be actually a good place where this could cross. So you can very clearly see still a rather clear debris ball signature indicated with the radar. And let me stop this and match that up with the rotation velocity signature, and you can see it's kind of messy this far away from the radar, but that's clearly where that is currently located. So that is the first storm that we're going to keep an eye on. Again, it just passed through Idabel, likely right now looking at heavy rain, perhaps even some hail in the Idabel area as we speak. In fact, let's take a look at that aspect of things, and you can see, yeah, we're probably looking at some hail in Idabel. And so you're getting hammered with the hail now after dealing with the tornado just a few minutes ago. And you can see also looking at some hail with this storm, which is south of Omaha. And I'll put this in the motion, and you can see where that hail associated with this is going to be going here, moving forward. Probably not as large as the one that we were watching earlier up further to the north, but still some hail associated with this storm, which is going to be crossing very close to Naples, Texas. So let's take a look at the shear aspect of this, and this again will show us basically the path that this shear is taken. So you can kind of see this storm right here, and if you can kind of project that forward, it kind of gives you a sense of where this, as long as it doesn't change directions and makes that right-hand turn, we'll see it pass very close to Naples. And again, as I keep mentioning, New Boston eventually could come into play for that thunderstorm there. So let me switch this over and stop this and switch this over to Futurescan. Again, this is going to project. Again, we're going to be looking at the bottom of this right here and put that in the motion. And where this is going to be going is going to go move. Did I not hit it? I guess I didn't hit it. Okay, just bear with me. I might have some bad data here, so I'll hit this again. There we go. And it does look like I have some, maybe I did have, okay, patience. All right, I think I have some bad data. It's not going to move for me. So anyway, this is where it is right now, and during the next half hour, it does look like it's moving, but I'm not seeing any. I do have a bad set of data with that particular product. Apologize for that. So let's switch back over to the radar and show you where this has been here recently. And again, this is the current location of the storm right now as it is progressing its way towards the north and west. It's basically the best way to look at this is with the debris detection. So what we're looking at is clear debris. You can see it is now. Looks like it's passing a little bit south of Naples. So let's give you, this is the location of the debris. So it looks like this tornado may be passing a little bit south of Naples, Rains Road. It looks like Rains Road here as well, if I'm seeing that correct. Reno Road, I should say, and then Dangerfield Road. So our tornado, which is close to Naples, southeast of Naples, down along Dangerfield Road, moving up towards Reno Road. It looks like Dalton. It probably will stay a little bit to your west. And then see if we can get some other. This is I believe this is the Sulphur River. And so Darden, this is Highway 67. Zoom this out somewhat. So again, this is our tornado, and you can kind of see where it's going to be going. Crossing probably the Sulphur River a little south of 67 up towards Sims, and then we could see New Boston come into play as well with that cell. And kind of give you a sense, let me stop this and zoom this out, and I'll do another traditional storm track. So we know that this is moving again to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So this is where it is going to be going here in the next hour. So here's some of the estimated times of arrival for you. In Sims, we're looking at it arriving fairly close to Sims, actually, at about 7:24. It looks like it may pass a bit to the west of Maud shortly after 7:30. New Boston, which should be fairly close to the path of this tornado, at about 7:36. Hooks, it may pass a little to your west, but it gets close to you by about 7:43. So this kind of gives you a sense on where and when this particular cell could move into that part of the Arctic. Let me clear this off. Again, here's our the latest on our next tornado, which is just about ready to cross. It looks like this is the area of concern crossing U.S. Highway 70 right now between Broken Bow and Eagletown. What was that community that I mentioned earlier? I don't see it on the map here. Oh, there it is, Tyner. The Tyner community is where this very well could be, maybe a little bit west of there. And again, this will pass a little bit to the east of Hochatown and Broken Bow Lake. And again, eventually move up into the southern and southwestern sections of Polk County. This is where Wicks is. If you've ever traveled up 71 up towards Fort Smith, that's where this is going. And we will see this move out of McCurtain County here more than likely in the next 25-30 minutes or so, and then that will be done. So far, well, I haven't heard of anything as far as damage. We know that there definitely was a tornado in Idabel. A rare tornado emergency was issued for this particular thunderstorm, as we probably had a strong tornado, in other words EF4 at least, that moved through the Idabel area. So far, there's no word yet on on any extent of any injuries or damage from that thunderstorm, that tornado that moved through there. This is interesting.
See the mesonet?
Yes, the mesonet confirms, get this, 108 mile per hour gust at the, wow.
Which site was it?
At Idabel.
That would have been tornado.
Yes. So 108 mile per hour gust at 10 meters.
Yeah, if you think about thunderstorm wind gusts, sometimes 60 to 80, but never, rarely above 100. So that would confirm tornado as well.
Yeah, so there you go. So there you go. Winds of 95 to 100 and almost 10 miles per hour. So that is even more confirmation. And we're going to be efforting to get some information from Idabel to find out exactly the extent of the damage that has occurred in that particular part of the Arctic. And again, that storm as of right now, it is, let me go back to the traditional radar here, is continuing to move into the eastern sections of McCurtain County. Here it is right here. This is where it passed Idabel. This is where our rotation is currently more than likely occurring right now. And this will eventually move up into Polk County, although it's going to take a little while to do so. We do have, again, the extension of this tornado warning for this part of McCurtain County here near U.S. Highway 70, probably fairly close to midway between Eagletown and Broken Bow. So it looks like the worst of this, getting some hail more than likely in Broken Bow and very heavy rain, but the twisting part of this, the tornado, more than likely has passed a little bit to the east of Broken Bow, midway between there and Eagletown. And again, it does look like, here's the Queen, Gillum right here, that this probably will stay to the north of both of those locations. But again, the rural part of McCurtain County here, we're north of Highway 70. You can see there are quite a few roadways here. This is the part of the, this is, I believe, was at 974. Just kind of yell out a road name to kind of give you a sense for you folks watching in that part of McCurtain County is where this tornado is going to be going next. Let's go back down to our storm, which is going to soon be moving into Bowie County. And we have had a debris signature that was detected on the radar with this one as well. It is still there. So let me stop it and show you that we more than likely have our tornado here, which is Again, this is near Dalton, between there and Naples. It is going to be crossing the Sulphur River here, as I mentioned, a little bit south and east of U.S. Highway 67. So this is going to be moving into Bowie County as well. And again, notice that instead of a red box, we have a purple box. That means we have a confirmed tornado. This is a tornado, and you can see how that matches up with the velocity scan right in here. So this is the location of our tornado crossing very close to right over the Sulphur River, very close to U.S. Highway 67. And you folks in Sims, this will come very close to you. And then moving this further downstream, you can see New Boston also very well could come into play with that particular cell. Moving northeast at 45, do some quick math here. As it's now southwest of Sims, you can see it's about 8 miles. So we're probably looking at it about, say, 10-15 minutes from Sims. And then New Boston, it's about 17 miles, so maybe 20 minutes from New Boston. So we're looking at
that storm. It's with circulation, or at least the debris. We've noted that's been on the ground for about 20 miles. And if you're wondering, on days like today, when we get these long track tornadoes, how far can they go? It's not out of the question. These things can be on the ground for over 50 miles. So that's why we're trying to give everybody a lot of lead time here outside of the warnings as well, because we do suspect these may be on the ground for a long time.
And having said that, Josh, let's go out farther. You know, we talked about Bowie County here. Let's project this even farther and where this could be going, and grab the measuring tool. So this is where it is now. Well, let's assume 45 miles per hour. So you can see that an hour from now, we're talking 8:15, this is going to be very close to Ashdown. And then another hour after that, it's going to be pretty much in Pike County up towards Lake Greeson.
And there is another storm on its heels as well that's approaching Gilmer. They do have a rotating wall cloud on that one, so it's doing the same thing all of these other storms have done. So it's likely that this will drop a tornado as well, and that will kind of scoot up behind the storm that is now crossing into Bowie County. So most of Cass County, if you're to the west of Highway 59. This particular storm right here at the moment, I'm not concerned about Linden and Atlanta. This would probably be headed up towards Lake Wright-Patman. So if you know anybody who is out at the lake here, I put this about an hour away. So they can either get to somewhere safe on the lake. If they're out there in the camper, probably a bad place to be. But make sure if you have friends, family that's out at the lake this evening, that they know these storms are coming. Tell them to get somewhere, either a sturdy shelter if they can make it back to where they came from in 15 to 20 minutes to do that. Otherwise, try to find a safe location there at the lake.
Yeah, either one of these two cells, Josh, could actually both of them could impact some part of Wright-Patman. The one that's northeast of Gilmer right now, probably the western half of Wright-Patman, and the one after that could take a course closer to the spillway there. And this one too, again, let's project that forward. This one, if that arrow is correct, eventually Texarkana could come into play. So again, Josh mentioned the long track. We've been talking about that one that's moving into Bowie County for a while now. It's possible this could hold together long enough. So Texarkana, this is about an hour and 45 minutes away, which would put it about 9 o'clock.
And very strong debris coming into Sims.
All right, so let's thanks for pointing that out, Josh. So this is the storm right here. Again, red away, green towards tornado. And of course, if it is on the ground, it picks up stuff, and the radar can see that stuff. And this is the debris signature that Josh was mentioning near Sims. So we likely do have something on the ground around the Sims, Texas area. Yeah. And again, this is going to be headed up towards New Boston.
I believe it would be the one that's further to the south. That would be where the rotation is. But I mean, if there's something else in there, maybe picking up some hail near Sims as well. Sometimes these may be picking up a concentration of hail, but we know something's definitely still on the ground and still rotating there near Sims. So
there you go. So Sims up towards New Boston. Let's go ahead and click on this to kind of give you the radar's calculation. 741 for New Boston, and that was 728 was based on where it was back then, and it's probably a few minutes away from Sims as well. So Sims, New Boston, Let's put this further downstream. Ashdown, you'll have to keep a close eye on this. Perhaps Wilton, probably more Wilton than Ashdown, although this, as we've seen earlier, these things can turn a little bit to the right, so Ashdown could be impacted by that particular thunderstorm as well. And as far as its distance from Ashdown, again, it's less than an hour away from the Ashdown area. Go back up here. Again, this is what we're looking at as far as the storm here in McCurtain County. We'll soon move out of McCurtain County. Again, we did, as we mentioned earlier, there was an observation of a gust at the Idabel mesonet site of almost 110 miles per hour. And another one at 97, I believe it was. So definitely had a tornado that moved through the Idabel area. No word yet on the extent of any injuries from that particular part of the Arklatex. Hopefully the newsroom is efforting getting that information from law enforcement officials. I'm sure they're quite busy with the debris from that and the damage, I should say, that's being caused by that particular thunderstorm. Let's zero in on this thunderstorm here, this possible tornado, which is now near New Mountain. This is Marion County, northwestern Harrison County. This is the southwestern sections of Cass County. You can see the red away, green towards. We do have this tornado warning. That does include Lone Star. If you live in Lone Star, Texas, you should be in your place of safety. Let me click on that particular button. Kind of gives you an idea. 7:31, so about 15 minutes from now, we could see this, maybe a little bit before that, move into the Lone Star area, probably passing a little bit south of Dangerfield at about 7:36. And Hughes Springs, we'll see it move into the Hughes Springs area about 7:38. In Avenger, it will probably pass a little bit north of Avenger at 7:39. So that gives you a sense as to the timing of this possible tornado as it moves out of Upshur County and into northern, into basically southern Morris County and eventually the southwestern sections of Cass County. And that is it as far as the southernmost of the rotating storms that we have in play. If you're just tuning in, you can see the red box. That's a tornado warning. You might see the flashing purple boxes and wondering what those mean. That basically is a new feature with Pinpoint Doppler. Whenever a tornado warning, a tornado has been confirmed, the red box changes to purple. So that's your clue that we actually do have a tornado on the ground. And right now, the latest on that storm here, it has passed a little bit to the west of Eagletown, and it looks like that rotation right now is, see if I can get a smaller community to pop in here, is, excuse me, that's 874. Here is Cheatham, and that is Gillum. So it does, this actually could cross into the far northwestern corner. This is the Polk, McCurtain, and Sevier County line. This very well could pass into the extreme northwestern corner of Sevier County, as this will eventually head up towards Wicks. That could be in line to the next larger community to be impacted, and maybe even Grannis there in southern Polk County is where this tornado could be going. Let's zero it back in. We have so many rotations to cover this evening. As you can see, this tornado here, very strong signature here just to the southwest of Sims. Kind of get a sense on where that is currently located. You can see that southwest of Sims. It's about 5 miles southwest of Sims, moving towards the northwest at 45. That will slide its way up towards New Boston and eventually cross into Little River County and move up towards Wilton, Ashdown. So Wilton, Ashdown, keep an eye on this cell, which is still well to your southwest, but this is the one that you need to be worried about as it eventually moves into Arkansas here in the next half hour to an hour. And again, we mentioned this particular possible tornado here, which is just north of New Mountain. That is going to come very close to Lone Star, very close to Hughes Springs, and this could move up towards Douglasville and the Marietta areas here in northern Cass County. So that's where that could be going. And then the Gilmer storm right now is going to pretty much take the same path as the one ahead of it. So we do have numerous rotating storms right now with a couple of confirmed tornadoes that have been ongoing across the area. Again, if you live in Sims, again, this is our rotation indicated on radar. Let's see if the radar is seeing the latest on that debris signature. It is, in this general sense, not as clean as it was, but that could be because of the factor of several different things. And it does still look like we have a pretty good signature with that storm north of Eagletown. That's very well could be debris there, which is, again, going to graze the northwestern corner of Sevier County.
It looks like they'll be warning that one downstream. The one, so that warning will go all the way up to Little River County when the new one comes out.
And whether, so as Josh is mentioning, the warning downstream, that means they're going to issue an extension to this tornado warning that would include probably Ashdown, Wilton, Aleen, probably Foreman as well. Although it more than likely, to get a cleaner look at this, let's go back to the velocity scan. Here's our tornado. It's more than likely going to move more into the center of Little River County than it will western Little River County. And you folks in Nashville, you can see, let's draw even further out. It's going to eventually move into the southern sections of Howard County as well. It is still a ways away, but to kind of give you a sense on the timing of this, if it were to make it to Ashdown, or I should say Nashville, it's more than an hour away, probably an hour and 15, 20 minutes from 9 o'clock before it moves into this particular part of Howard County, and again, probably 45 minutes before it moves into central Little River County. So we're talking about this thunderstorm here. Again, we do have tornado warnings, confirmed tornado warnings that are in place, and this new tornado warning is in effect until 8 o'clock this evening for that thunderstorm, which is now approaching Sims. So New Boston, anywhere here in central Bowie County. Does look like if you're watching a DeKalb that we will probably see this pass well to your south and obviously to the west over towards New Boston. Let's see if we can get some of the other communities to pop on. So this is Texas Highway 8 as it goes up towards Foreman, and this is where it crosses the Red River. So it looks like it'll cross, if the arrows are correct here, it'll cross very close to the midway point between I-30 and the Red River. If you're familiar with this part of Bowie County and maybe live in that particular part of Bowie County, that's where this could be going. Now keep in mind that may be too exact, but still kind of gives you a little bit of a closer look. And again, eventually moving up towards Ben Lomond, Wilton, and perhaps Ashdown. We have this thunderstorm here. We can see the rotation, which is going to be approaching Lone Star here in the next few minutes. And we have another possible tornado, which is very close to Gilmer right now, that is going to be moving up towards Lone Star. And then we'll see, show you the overall view of the storms that are back to the west. This is a look at, excuse me, national radar. And you can see that, I don't know if you've been looking at this at all, Josh, but the storm's back to the west.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention it because I don't want to jinx it, but they're not coming together, which is a good sign for locations, let's say, south of Interstate 20, that the south end of that line's not coming together. That said, the storm that's down by Jacksonville about to move into Rusk County, they are watching some rotation on that. But you'll remember those two cells down there did have tornado warnings earlier, and I've not seen a warning pop up on either of those in the last hour or so. So that may be a good sign that we're kind of losing some of the support for severe weather south of I-20. Again, keeping our fingers crossed that's the case and that eventually we don't see a wind threat manifest, but we know we'll probably be watching these tornado tornado warned storms for at least the next hour or so, but we did believe at some point during the night this was going to transition to more of a damaging wind threat with those storms coming out of Dallas. But we have not seen any warnings on those in a while, so it's possible the storm's out ahead of them, using up all the energy. So we're hoping, everybody keep your fingers crossed, that those storms just kind of die out in the next.
And I've been showing the HRRR model, and the you know, it had this quite intense as it was rolling into Texarkana, rolling into Shreveport later on this evening. The fact that it's not really going that much yet, I know we're far from done, but nonetheless, that's a good sign that we may avoid the damaging widespread wind impact of that line itself. But the price we're paying is we have to deal with all these spinning thunderstorms, which have produced several tornadoes across, and still are producing several tornadoes across the Arklatex. You can see one which is just about ready to cross across the far northwestern corner of Sevier County. It's over the far eastern sections of McCurtain County right now. It is going to move into Polk County eventually, and this maybe graze the far northwestern sections of Howard County. So don't be surprised if you live in Howard. In fact, it looks like there is a tornado warning already in place for that part of Howard County. So the northern sections of Howard County could be impacted here. We're talking far northwestern corner part of Howard County could be impacted by this tornado, which did likely cause some decent damage there in Idabel. So far, there has been no word on the extent of that damage done as it moved through.
And I think it may take a little while before we get reports in, but I would suspect that we'd probably have some major damage in Idabel, just based on what we saw on radar and the reports of the wind coming in there. But it will take crews because of the storms that are still going through there, but I would imagine we'll start getting some reports in here in the next hour or two. But we know there was some confirmed damage and injuries in McCurtain County with that first tornado warned storm of the evening.
Because they have enough to deal with helping all the folks out there as opposed to giving us the information. So yeah, it may, as Josh mentioned, may be a while before we hear from them. Let's zero in on this storm here, which again is approaching New Boston. Here's the latest on the velocity scan with that, and it has, I think I hit the wrong button here. Let's pause this. So here it is where our tornado is currently located. Looks like it's moving very close to Texas Highway 98, a little bit to the north of Sims, Texas. And again, New Boston, you should be in your place of safety. Just a quick review on what we mean by that. Again, this is our first outbreak of severe weather in this secondary tornado season. And basically, in our part of the country, we don't have basements. So what you need to do, typically in a tornado warning, you never want to go up. You always want to go down. And you want to be as down as far as possible. So if you live in a two-story apartment, get to know your neighbor beneath you or some neighbor beneath you. You want to be as low as possible. Try to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Oftentimes, a bathroom is a good place to go. You want to go to a small interior room. Again, a good place to go. A closet also, if there is enough space for everyone in the house.
And
go ahead.
There will be just a recap of the reports that are coming through. We have a tornado emergency coming for New Boston.
Okay.
911 dispatch confirming multiple homes destroyed in Idabel.
Oh, so that would tell you that was a significant. By the way, just looking since 1955, the only, I'm not saying that that was an EF5 tornado, but the only EF5 tornado that occurred in our viewing area occurred in McCurtain County. So
and it's very rare we get anything above an EF2.
Yeah, that's true. And I think we've only had what 8 or 9 EF4s. So the big ones are extremely rare. The EF3s are extremely rare as well. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully everyone is okay. I thought to myself, hopefully we won't have to deal with any injuries and death here tonight. And so far that has not been the case. Although we have had some report of one injury there in northwestern McCurtain County near Pickens and near Batiste, and probably do have some, I would imagine, if we have homes destroyed there in Idabel. Let's hope that we haven't had anything too serious as far as those injuries. Again, Josh just mentioned a tornado emergency that has been issued for New Boston. That's for this thunderstorm, which is likely. Again, we had a tornado emergency for Idabel, and now we're getting reports of homes destroyed in Idabel. Now, we don't know what type of home that was, but that is something that we could be dealing with soon in New Boston. So if you live in New Boston, this is one of those situations that you need to take very, very seriously. Let's zoom in and show you exactly where this is going to be moving. It looks like this could pass basically the worst, maybe west of, this is Texas Highway 8, west of Texas Highway 8. This is obviously Interstate 30, and there's Talbot Road. Let's see if I can get this road to pop on. May not want to do it for me. It looks like a big road. I don't know why it doesn't label. There is Willow Bend. So this is particularly the part of near New Boston where we are looking at our possible tornado right now, Texas Highway 98. So again, the worst of this could occur on the west side of New Boston. Doesn't mean east of Highway 8 you're fine. Just means that's where the worst of this could actually pass, if you want to be more detailed about it. And then we will see this move up towards basically up Texas Highway 8. I believe up in this area is where New Boston Middle School is, north of I-30. So that could be a place that gets impacted by this possible tornado. And again, this is where the Red River, and this will cross into Little River County. So this is Arkansas Highway 32. So it looks like this could pass a little bit west of Ashdown and midway between Ashdown and Foreman. For you folks here in Little River County is where this tornado very well could move here fairly shortly. So
just wanted to point out, we do have I want to stay with that storm. Obviously, that's the most serious situation that we have. We do have a new warning for a storm. It's not in Rusk County. It's still about 10 to 15 miles southwest of you. But if your phones are going off in Rusk County with the tornado warning, that storm is going to be headed up towards New Salem and eventually over towards Henderson. That warning goes until 8:15. The storm will not be over towards Henderson until we get closer to 8:15 towards the expiration of that warning. But I am keeping an eye on that one. There's two storms down there. I want to stay with the storm that Todd is watching, but just letting you know that that is going on, and I am keeping an eye on it.
And here's pretty much the reason why we do have a tornado emergency for New Boston. You can see this is the confirmation. This is a debris ball signature. In other words, debris that's being detected by the radar. It's looking for weather stuff. It's looking for rain, snow. It knows what the shape of rain, snow, hail is. When it sees something that's not those normal shapes, this is what it does. It creates and kind of shows us where it thinks we have debris. And as I mentioned, you can see where that debris is taking place so far. A little bit to the west of New Boston is where a lot of this debris is being detected. Again, doesn't mean you're out of the woods, New Boston, but this is more than likely crossing Interstate 30. Probably this is Willow Bend Road. Let's see if I can get some more of the streets to pop on here. This is where the debris is being detected. Unfortunately, it's not. But you can see this is Highway 82. There's Malta. So this is crossing pretty much that exit where 82 goes up towards DeKalb. So we're likely in that part of Bowie County, a little bit west of New Boston, is where perhaps the worst of this tornado is currently occurring. And if you project that forward,
it's going to be crossing over. There's Lone Star Park right there, so Lone Star Park Road and then Radio Road. This is going to go directly over those two locations. I've got it zoomed way in over here. May not be able to see it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's headed right up to those locations.
So there's Woodstock Road, all right. So, and then this is the Red River right here. So that kind of gives you an idea of where this tornado is going to be going. So this is going to pass again over the course of the next hour. Let me track this out for an hour here to kind of give you a sense on exactly where this is going to be going. And again, this is where our tornado is right now, assuming it continues this course to the northeast at around 45. Again, it looks like it passes this, I believe, right there is Aline, and it will come fairly close to Aline shortly after 8, so about a half hour from now. It says Ashdown at 8:03. Keep in mind that means it's going to pass a little bit west of Ashdown, probably a little bit before 8:03, and then Ben Lomond further upstream also could be in the path at about 8:14.
I was watching the other warning. My apologies. Watching that storm that's going up towards Lone Star and Hughes Springs. That would be the next one that's to the south. We're seeing a large debris ball with that one as well. So that's the one that's going to be crossing just to the west or just to the east of Holly Springs, headed directly up towards Lone Star and eventually Hughes Springs.
All right, so let me zero in on that one. So this is where the location of the tornado here and is moving up towards Hughes Springs. I kind of get a sense, just assuming 45 miles per hour, again, fairly shortly here in, let me redraw that, fairly shortly here in Lone Star, probably looking at what we're talking about, 5 minutes or so, and then Hughes Springs, double that. So we're probably looking at it arriving in Hughes Springs at about 10 or 15 minutes there shortly before, let's say 7:45, 7:50 is when it could arrive in the Hughes Springs area as far as ETA there. Let me zoom out and continue this. Douglasville could be the next in line. Let's kind of measure that out. Got to get my correct tool here. So here we are all the way to Douglasville. Again, less than an hour. That's about 45 minutes away. So would that be 22? So 8:22 is when it would arrive in Douglasville. And this could head up towards Texarkana. Again, this is something I pointed out earlier as a storm that worth watching for Texarkana. And again, a little bit more than an hour from now. So that'd put it in Texarkana 8:45, 9 o'clock or so. So this is the cell, you folks in Texarkana, that you need to watch. Wright Patman as well. If you know, as Josh mentioned, rightfully so several minutes ago, if you know of someone, or there are several campgrounds here on Wright Patman, you know someone that on this Friday camping, let them know that you need to watch this cell. This looks like it could pass very close to Wright Patman, and again, shortly before 9 o'clock, it moves into the Texarkana area. Again, we're talking about that particular cell. Let me take a look at the latest on that, and then we'll head back up to that cell. Here is the debris ball that Josh was talking about, and again, that's the cell which could eventually, excuse me, make its way up towards the Texarkana area. Back up to Bowie County, again, a clear debris ball signature here with this tornado, which is now north of New Boston.
And one of the spotters out there saying very large tornado crossing I-30 northeast of New Boston.
Okay, so that would make sense from what we're seeing here, and don't like hearing that. Hopefully all is okay. It looks like just to make a point here, and just hopefully wishful thinking, wishful observation actually, that the worst of this, let's wait for this data to fill in here. If you look at the path of that, it may have, the worst of that tornado may have passed a little bit west of New Boston. Obviously, that's not good for the folks that live a little bit west of New Boston, but given the more dense, you know, a little bit higher density population of New Boston itself.
That would have gone right between Malta and New Boston, so you're seeing some of the debris from what was picked up right between those two locations.
Exactly, and the fact that it missed perhaps New Boston means that it's not as bad as it could have been, but keep in mind you can kind of see where this is going to be going as you wait for that to come in up towards Aline, Wilton, and probably midway between Foreman and Ashdown. This is our tornado right here. We're looking at debris that is being picked up. Go ahead.
Looks like it's probably picked up a lot of debris, just based on the size of it.
And go ahead, we mentioned this before, Josh. How high is that debris? Obviously, we're not talking about debris.
That one's about, so the one in McCurtain County was at about 10,000
Yes.
feet. That's at about 5,600. So
Okay.
it goes to show you, as you get closer to the Shreveport radar site, it gets a little easier for us to see these debris signatures.
Yes. And again, why the difference? Well, the McCurtain County storm was farther away. The radar beam is straight, Earth curves, and obviously in McCurtain County it hits the storm much higher up. So that's the reason why it's 5,600 here, but as it was in southern McCurtain County, it was closer to 10,000. So the fact that we are still seeing this rather impressive debris signature is a fact that we do, and has been confirmed, have a strong tornado that is currently
we
in
have
place.
Another tornado warning that does include another portion of Rusk County, so may just want to go down there. Storms are not in Rusk County just yet, but the first of those warnings, the one that's near New Salem, as well as Pleasant Grove, that storm will be moving close to those communities probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. So wanted to give in. You could see the new warning pop up for the storm just south of it as well. These storms did have tornado warnings earlier, I believe, and then just have kind of recycled and started to strengthen once again. So we'll keep an eye on those as well.
So this one here, which is west of New Salem, that is the cell, if you look at the motion of it, that could head up towards Henderson. And just a quick measurement on that, grab where it is right now, and assuming it's going at about a half hour, so about 8:15, we could see this move very close to the Henderson, Texas area. And again, this one, assuming the same thing, the same motion, and let's go an hour out. Let's go out a couple hours. So this, you know, about an hour, more than an hour, could move into the western sections of Panola County. All right. So, and then after that, you know, we're starting to talk about up in northwest Louisiana. So these cells that are, we don't want to see these cells further to the south. If you're watching in East Texas, northwest Louisiana, you don't like seeing these warnings starting to pop up further to the south, because this is the activity, if it does continue to increase in intensity, that will eventually move into northwest Louisiana and perhaps into Shreveport and Bossier City. And we are starting to see these rotate somewhat as they do so. So these eventually could move into especially the northern sections of Caddo and Bossier parishes, but we're still a ways out from that happening. Again, still, as Josh mentioned, outside of our viewing area, but they will be moving into Rusk County here fairly shortly. Update on McCurtain County, since it's been one of the hardest hit parts of the Arklatex. You can see we do still have some pretty good rain in Idabel. Again, we did likely have a strong tornado move through Idabel earlier. A tornado emergency was issued, something that's very rare. And we have reports from Idabel of houses being destroyed. No word yet on any deaths or injuries out of Idabel as of yet. We have had another tornado that has passed very close to New Boston, and that is getting ready to cross the Red River and move into Little River County there in southwest Arkansas. Again, this one, you can see the debris ball signature as it passed very close to New Boston, maybe a little bit to the west of town. It is right now right over the Red River, very close to where Highway 8 crosses and becomes, I believe, 41 there in Little River County. And again, Aleen could be the spot in Little River County that gets the direct hit from this.
And just kind of watching the weather cameras as well. Next time we're waiting for data, you may want to cycle through those, but you can see the rain is just sheeting down in DeKalb right now, just blinding rain there. And in Texarkana, you can see the sky is just lit up there, so you're already probably seeing the lightning, hearing the thunder there, as those storms will be approaching Texarkana shortly as well.
Thanks for checking it out, Josh. In fact, I can show you all 5 at once. You'll see the various what's happening around the area. Again, you can see the rain that Josh is mentioning with the frequent lightning there in DeKalb. Let me clean that off. All is quiet still in Marshall as well as in Shreveport, and it's going to be a while for Coshada. And in Texarkana, we'll see if we can see that lightning off. There it goes. There's the lightning off the distance in Texarkana. But again, this is a view from the Bowie County equipment camera there in DeKalb, right there on Highway 82. And you kind of see the picture there, and you can kind of see, I'm going to switch this back to the radar and show you what you just looked at. Again, what we're seeing, what we just saw is this very heavy rain here in DeKalb, Texas, which is currently not severe at the present time, but again, some very heavy rain.
Now picking up, have a very strong debris signature on the storm that is going in Cass County. It's going to be headed up towards, it's over Midway right now and headed up towards Douglasville. Very strong, seeing very strong rotation on that one. Also a debris signature now as well.
All right, thanks for keeping an eye on that, Josh. All right, so we're talking about this cell right here near Midway. Let me pause this. So here we have red away, green towards. You can see the cylinder, and that is an indication of strong shear in the atmosphere. This is where our tornado is. Let's see how that matches up.
And that's, we have two circulations. You can see the one at the bottom of the screen as well. So we have two distinct circulations. Both of those may have had some kind of tornado debris signature.
Yeah.
So both of those storms moving through the warned area. Typically, we're just watching one storm go through a tornado warned area, but we actually have two here.
Yeah.
One of those right over Midway, and then another one that's back towards Avenger, which may make its way maybe closer to Linden, but looks to be in more of a rural part of the county.
So it looks like this debris signature is Crossroads Community Century is what it pops up on the map. And again, that probably will head up a little bit west of Carterville, a little bit west of Elmira, and probably a bit to the east of Marietta and very close to Douglasville. And again, this is the area of where we likely have some debris, and kind of show you that.
And that would be the storm for Texarkana to keep an eye on.
Yes, and you can kind of see that. In fact, let me do what I did earlier, kind of show this in 3D and take this a view from behind the storm and put this in the motion, and you can kind of see these cylinders march along and where these are going to be going. So you can kind of see that this is the storm that moved up against Sims to New Boston. You can kind of see the storms definitely headed up Douglasville and eventually up towards Texarkana as we look. You can kind of think of it as looking through the windshield of these thunderstorms, if you don't mind the driving analogy, and where they are currently headed here across the Arklatex. So again, Texarkana, keep an eye on these storms here in Cass County, the one near Avenger, as well as the one that's very close to Midway. Again, these cylinders pop on when there's strong rotation, and typically when we have these cylinders, we found out over the years that we eventually have the confirmation that something has touched the ground. So that's the latest on those two areas. Let's zero back in on the storm that is right now in moving into Little River County. And you can see our tornado here, which has just crossed the Red River and is moving into Little River County. We had a pretty good debris signature near Sims, near New Boston. Looks like that perhaps has faded somewhat. That could be a good sign. And let's take a look at the velocity scan of the radar here and still have the rotation. Let me stop this and kind of pinpoint things on where this is currently located. So we have this is Highway 41. Again, it's 8 becomes Arkansas 41. And we do have our tornado here, which is near Anderson Road, near Mudline Road. So pretty close to the intersection of Anderson Road and Mudline Road is where this tornado is going to be going. It will continue to move up towards Hancock and then up towards Alene. So if you live anywhere near Alene and anywhere here along County Highway 1453 between 32 and 108, you're going to be in line for this tornado again.
Looks like we would have the Wallace community, Wade's Chapel, as well as Arden. That would be in line to see this next.
All right, thanks, Josh. So those are the areas on this one, which is just now moving into Little River County. If you're watching in Ashdown, here you are. Again, this is, if you travel down 32 towards Foreman, this will cross 32 closer to Foreman than it will Ashdown. That doesn't necessarily mean you won't get any bad weather. It just means that this tornado likely will pass a bit to your east up towards Alene, and eventually here in further downstream you can see it will pass from Alene and will come very close to basically Lockburg could come into play too. And if we project this even further, here's Nashville. That probably will stay north of Nashville. Doesn't mean you're safe. Obviously we got more stuff further to the south, but again, Dirks may be in line for this one. Just wanted to point out, since these have a history here tonight of lasting a long time, we want to take you out further as to areas where they could eventually head so that you can be attentive to any warnings that may come your way.
And I know our newsroom's efforting to find some information out about some of the damage. So they've been making some calls. In Idabel, the damage is very widespread, apparently. They are asking everyone, a lot of folks I know want to probably go help. They're asking everybody to stay away from Idabel, especially the east side of town.
The east side of town of Idabel, again, newsroom finding out that, again, Josh is mentioning that widespread damage in Idabel. We did have a tornado emergency issued there. We had an observation from an actual weather station of a gust in excess of 100 miles per hour. So again, that kind of is not surprising that we have the widespread damage there in Idabel. Fortunately, that storm has moved out of our area, and we still have plenty more to track here. You can see this one in Cass County. This one is, go ahead, Josh.
And also one of our former interns, Jacob, who's our chief meteorologist over at our sister station, his dad is a DPS trooper there, saying there's damage in the Hughes Springs area of there. So we know, we saw the debris signature with that, but we know that that is definitely causing some damage as well.
All right, so that would be associated with this tornado here. And let me kind of pinpoint exactly where this is currently located. Here's Bethlehem. I'm trying to get some of these roads to pop on, but you can see the Bethlehem community, Cassetta, and a little bit north and west of Elmira. It is going to cross Highway 77 very close to, maybe a little bit to the west of Douglasville. So if you live anywhere between Douglasville and Marietta, especially closer to Douglasville, all the way to Marietta, you need to be in your place of safety. Small room, middle of your house. Take that pillow or cushion to protect you from any flying debris that you may have. And I suspect, again, as Josh mentioned, we have confirmation of some damage there in the Hughes Springs part of Cass County as well. And that is going to pass up towards Douglasville. And eventually we'll see that, notice where the arrow's pointing, pass very close to Texarkana. And as far as the timing of that, we're kind of pointing out close to 9 o'clock, if memory serves me correctly. So it's about 3/4 of an hour away. So about 8:45, maybe a little bit before that, we'll see this begin to impact, especially the southwestern sections of Texarkana. So this one is one to watch for you folks there in the Texarkana area. And we do have another one which is indicated here, a cylinder with one that is west of Linden. Let's see if I could switch over, change views if anything changes on that. Clearly a stronger circulation with this storm, which is southeast of Marietta, as opposed to the one, that cylinder that's further to the south. See if we see any debris that's indicated. It looks like we could have some. This very well could be a signature associated with that rotation. So this could be some sort of confirmation, although you can see the box here is still red. There's nothing official as far as a confirmation with this as of yet. But as with every tornado warning, you should act as if there is something on the ground. Again, our Little River County storm, this is the current location of our tornado here near Cannon Road, Anderson Road, and the intersection of Mudline Road, Wallace, Pankoff, Arden, and eventually up towards Alene are locations and where this is going to be going. You can see where we have our signature here, which could be debris, and how that matches up with the velocity scan. Again, it can be delayed somewhat compared to when we get the two sets of data, but you can kind of clearly see that our tornado here is soon going to cross Arkansas Highway 32 there near Wallace, and this is Winthrop Road. So that kind of gives you a sense on the exact location of our tornado there in the western sections of Little River County. And again, if you're watching in Foreman, it's moving towards the northeast, more towards the east towards Aleen is where this is going to be going. And then further downstream, you can see it. You folks in Lockburg watch this very, very closely. And you folks in Dirks also need to keep an eye on this storm, which has a history of producing, again, quite a bit of debris as it passed near New Boston several minutes ago. Let's take you back down to the south here into Rusk County. It doesn't look like these cells here, Josh, are quite as
this southern one, if you go back over to the velocity mode, you can see that one's definitely rotating or spinning pretty hard. So I believe that's probably turning into the more dominant one. The other circulation we're watching is now crossed into the county. It's near Pleasant Grove. It is moving up Highway 79 towards Henderson. That would be that northern warning there. But the stronger one looks to be the one that is to the south. I
was on the wrong storm. That's why I thought I was all the way down south. But here you go. These are the two cells that we're looking at just now entering Rusk County, and then we have another one that will follow suit. That could move close to Mount Enterprise, and if memory serves me, we did have one in the spring that moved fairly close to Mount Enterprise. And again, these, if you project them northward, we could see Caddo Bossier Parish come into play. If we project that northeast, could see this. These would be the ones that we would need to keep an eye on if you're watching here in Shreveport, Bossier City, especially the southernmost cell as it moves forward. All right, let me zoom this out, and I haven't shown a future scan in a while. We'll show you where these storms could be going here in the next hour. So I'm going to kind of put this into motion and kind of go down the line here. So you can see the cell that's now down here moves up towards Dirks in the next hour. We have the cell here, which is warned in Cass County. You can see that projected to move close to Texarkana and then up towards Fulton by the time we get to close to 9 o'clock here, if that is correct. But nonetheless, it kind of gives you an idea of when things are going to go downhill. 8:45, 9 o'clock is when that's going to take place there in Texarkana. And you can see in Marshall, probably we'll see some thunderstorms down towards Henderson. Move into the Marshall area shortly before 9 o'clock tonight. And further to the south, again, we're talking about these storms that are currently moving into Rusk County. Again, those would eventually, probably a couple hours from now, closer to 10 o'clock, perhaps move into the northern sections of Caddo Parish. Again, this is a 1 hour potential look at what we could be seeing here as far as the radar in the next hour. Let me clean this off and zero back, and we kind of touched on this earlier. I want to take a look at the national radar, and we'll kind of give you a look as we wait for more data to come in here, kind of give you another look at the overall view of things. Again, we have the discrete storms. These are the ones that have been spinning over the last several hours, especially over the northwestern sections of the Arklatex. You can see the line of storms here. This was projected to be probably our biggest concern further to the south and east. So far, it really hasn't produced much, and that could be a good sign. Let's see what is showing up with the HR, the HRRR model. It's a high-resolution rapid refresh. Rapid refresh, we get a run of this every hour, so we'll move this forward to 9 o'clock. You can see it does show the rain in Texarkana. Again, some rain possible in Shreveport. Notice that everything moves into northwest Louisiana, southern Arkansas by 11. Still some intensity indicated, so the fact that we're not seeing much there yet, doesn't mean that it can't develop. But nonetheless, by the time we get past midnight, we should see conditions improve over the eastern sections of the Arklatex here later on tonight. So Go back to pinpoint Doppler here. You can see in this overall view the numerous warnings that are currently in place. Again, the orange boxes, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. Red boxes, tornado warnings. Purple boxes, confirmed tornado warnings. In other words, a warning where we know that there is a tornado located within it. And you can see a few of those are impacting the Arklatex as we speak. So let's go down the line here, stop the radar, and show you where we're looking at the latest location of these thunderstorms and tornadoes, so to speak. So you can see this cell, which is, again, we've been kind of telling you about Helene, and you can see I'm going to zero this in. It looks like it is now just about ready to cross Arkansas Highway 108, very close to Helene, maybe a couple miles west of town. So that is the current location, and this will eventually perhaps get very close to Lockburg. So if you live in Lockburg, you're the next larger community to be impacted by this tornado, which is again moving very close to Helene as we speak. And then further to the south, we have this additional thunderstorm here. This is a tornado which is close to Douglasville. Let me see if we're looking at anything as far as debris with this one. We did have a pretty good signature, it looks like. It does kind of match up, so we probably do have some debris with this just to the west of Douglasville. This is the cell which could eventually move up. Notice where the arrows take it. So this is one, if you know someone who's on Wright-Patman, I know there's probably some places along Highway 8 that is about ready to be impacted by this tornado. Redwater, keep an eye on it. This is the spillway of Wright-Patman right here, and it could pass over this part of Wright-Patman, and you can see it could eventually move into the Texarkana area.
And I believe it will. So especially if you're on the Bowie County side of Texarkana, this will be close to you. Just plotted it out. It's going about 43, so 45 miles per hour. So that's going to put it near Redwater at 823, Redlick at 834, Nash at 835, Wake Village at 835, Texarkana 838. Again, these are just approximate times, but you get the idea that this will be up to you in about 30 minutes or so.
All right, and let's take that out farther, Josh. Given the fact that these things are lasting forever tonight, I'll let this zoom out. And you said 43?
Yeah, that was, I just timed it out just to see how quickly that one was moving, 43. And they've all kind of been in that 45-mile-an-hour range today, so we haven't seen them speed up or slow down. So I think it's still okay to go 45.
This is an hour from now, so about 9 o'clock in Fulton. Josh mentioned between 8:30 8:45 for Texarkana, depending on what part of the city. If we take this, project this out even farther, this is, let's go an hour and a half. So that would be about there. Up towards Blevins in an hour and a half. So that's 9:30-ish. Then it moves out by 10 o'clock, maybe headed up towards Delight, Arkansas after that. So this is where that tornado could be going if you project this forward. And again, the last half hour, basically last 15 minutes, about 8:45, maybe a little bit before that for the Texarkana area. And then we have another one down here, which is near Linden. That is also going to move very close to Texarkana and probably a little bit south of town. Let's see how that shapes up on the radar. That doesn't look to be too impressive at this point, but nonetheless there is that cylinder there, which is always concerning. But this part of the cell will eventually move south of Texarkana up towards Genoa, probably within the same time frame.
I believe it's on the ground near Douglasville, crossing Highway 77.
That would be this cell right here, crossing near Douglasville. So that goes with the debris signature that I showed you and then tracked up towards Texarkana. It's crossed Highway 77. In fact, let me zoom this, do a straight up view of this, and then call up the debris ball signature or the debris detection.
It would be going right up Highway 8 right now, right to the lake.
Yep, straight. Here's Highway 8, and it's going to go probably parallel to this line and then move right over the northwest half of Wright-Patman and probably near, or I know that there are a couple of campgrounds there. I've camped at a couple of them there, there on Wright-Patman. So if you live in, if you're at that location, go to a shelter if you possibly can. One of the bathrooms there if you're still there, because you don't want to be in a camp or anything like that, obviously. So again, this is moving up towards Wright-Patman, and again, we will eventually see this, as Josh mentioned, probably move on the Texas side of Texarkana here sometime between, say, 8:35, 8:45.
And I'm still watching Rusk County, so folks there, they're tuned in. We would definitely say something if I saw anything debris pop up. Still seeing that circulation approaching Henderson. There is a tornado warning on that. Henderson's right on the line where that tornado warning ends. Nothing concerning in that northern storm, but you probably still want to stay inside and kind of wait this one out. It's the southern storm there where you see the red and the green. That's definitely the stronger one. That will likely be crossing just south of Henderson another 20 to 30 minutes from now, but I am watching those.
Okay, thanks, Josh. And again, you can see the difference between the two. This is the one that's headed towards Henderson. As Josh mentioned, just be safe. Don't let your guard down. You can kind of clearly see, and you can see as I begin talking, we have this one of these spinning cylinders indicating the presence, or at least possible presence, of a tornado, and a very clear signature there. And that is probably going to pass on off towards the north and east, maybe up towards Minden, and eventually up towards Beckville could be a location of this one. And if you project that forward, again, forward northern half of Caddo and Bossier Parish. So if you live close to Shreveport, this is the one you need to watch. And as of right now, it may pass a little bit north of Shreveport, and you notice that we don't really have anything further to the south, which bodes well, at least for now, for the Shreveport-Bossier metropolitan area. And again, it looks like it's going to be for us a little bit later. We're a couple hours away from seeing anything significant as far as Shreveport and Bossier City is concerned. Let's take a look. It's been a while since I've done this. Take a look at the cameras once again across the Arklatex and show you the all five at the same time. Turn off the banner here, and you can see it's still quite Marshall. Again, we do have this is pointed to the north and west. I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't see a little bit of lightning. There you go. There in Marshall. We had the heavy rain earlier in DeKalb. It looks like conditions have improved there. The visibility has gone up some. You probably noticed there's the lightning in Texarkana. This may be a camera to watch here, Josh, as that storm that's now near Wright-Patman.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that one. The lightning has been continuous for about the last 20 to 30 minutes.
If you feel free to move it too, if you need to.
Okay.
And Coshada, obviously, southeast part of the Arklatex, ways away from getting any impact from these thunderstorms. Okay, so we have the storms. We have this confirmed tornado warning. That's outside of the Arklatex. We have this tornado warning. Notice that it's red, since that basically means that since this warning was issued, there has not been basically any confirmation of a tornado on the ground. But nonetheless, we do still have a strong signature indicated with this, which is now crossing. This is the little river right here. This is going to be crossing into southern Sevier County, and as I mentioned earlier, looks like it's going to come very close to Lockburg. And I don't think that we have a signature with this of debris. Let's see, it's getting a little bit farther away from the radar, so that's not really too surprising. But there you go. You can see there is confirmation. I say that, and we do have confirmation of something on the ground here with that particular thunderstorm. I'm just looking to see. Okay.
Yeah, and they're that one looks like it's about 7,500 feet up. That's how high it is with radar. And we did see debris in Idabel at 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
We know that was likely a strong tornado. So
that's true.
Not sure if there's anything still there, but it's definitely still showing those signs of rotating.
And you can see that our new tornado warning has just been issued, and it is a confirmed tornado warning. So places which are in line with this one, let me see if I can get a better location and it's getting far enough away. So we're looking right about in here, very close to maybe a little bit to the west of Ben Lomond. So see if we have any other roadways here that pop on. So here's Oak Grove. There's Penny's, Arkansas, right along Highway 71. That could take a direct hit from this. Could come close to Oak Grove. Here's Milford to Bellevue. Let's see if any other roads. There's Red Colony Road as it meets up with that road between Millwood and Bellevue. And then it continues to move into the middle part of Howard County. And I mentioned Dirks. Dirks will also is under this tornado warning as well. It very well could see this come very close to Dirks.
It will be very close to Dirks.
Yeah, and a quick plot here. So it's about a half hour away from Dirks. So a little bit after 8:30. Let's say 8:30, 8:45 or so, somewhere in that 15-minute range. You'll see this move very close to the Dirks, Arkansas area as it races off towards the north and east. So strong rotation there. Let's move the radar down to the south. It looks like our storm here in southern Bowie County, it doesn't look quite as impressive as it did.
So we were watching, it looks like they've kind of merged, so hopefully that's taken some of the power out of it, but we see these sometimes cycle back up. So folks anywhere from Hooks to Texarkana, Nash, Wake Village, we're keeping an eye on this one just to see if it cycles back up. But right now it looks like the circulation, the debris ball that we had earlier has gone away, which is a good sign for now, but that doesn't mean these can't spin right back up. That's
true. And so again, I clicked on that orange arrow which showed us the time. Let me see if I can click on this one here. Kind of gives us a time of when this activity will arrive at different locations. And Josh mentioned 8:38 earlier. I think it's going to be in that 8:30, 8:40 range for the Texarkana area. It really depends on which part of the town that you live. But again, we have seen a little bit of a weakening trend with these storms here in Cass County with their movement towards the northeast at around 45. So again, the storms, the rain, just about ready to move into Texarkana, but the actual storms themselves are off well to the south and west. Nights like tonight's really haven't shown the traditional radar that much, but you can see the heavy rain also going to be an issue with this activity. Here's the storm which is moving up, crossing into Sevier County. Will come fairly close to Ben Lomond, also close to Dirks there in southwest Arkansas. We have this cell here, which is going to eventually get close to Texarkana, just now crossing into Bowie County near Wright-Patman. And further to the south, the activity near Lake of the Pines and moving into western Harrison County is, excuse me, currently not severe. That's an interesting little echo there near south of Gilmer. I don't know if you're seeing anything.
Yeah,
with that,
so I've been watching those too. Yeah. It's got a little weak echo region on the one in Gilmer.
Yeah.
And so all the storms that have before they've gone tornado warned have kind of showed that weak echo region. You can see there's a little donut hole in that storm that's south of Gilmer. Usually an indication we're seeing some pretty rapid circulation with that. But these storms have all kind of done the same thing tonight. So would not be shocking at all to maybe see these get warned at some point.
Yeah. And so you can see this is the tornado warned cell that south of Henderson that didn't really look too particularly impressive the last time we looked at it, and you can still see that it is fairly weak at the present time. Compare that to what's happening further to the south, and you can see again a little stronger rotation here, a little bit to the east of New Salem. That is going to move between Minden and Henderson, and eventually could up towards Tatum, Beckville could be communities that could be in line for this thunderstorm. And then if it continues that track, eventually we could be looking at it moving into the northern sections of Caddo and Bossier parishes. Looks like a new tornado warning. That's for the one that I just mentioned there in Rusk County. New tornado warning, actually an extension of the previous one. technically does include Carthage, but we'll probably see this pass in terms of the rotation. Now, keep in mind with these tornado warnings, we focus so much on the rotation that we often don't talk about the straight line winds very much. So that is also going to be a concern with these thunderstorms as well as they move through these particular areas. So again, the rotation itself probably will stay to the west and northwest of Carthage, but we will keep an eye on that as well as it does. Again, this new tornado warning is in effect until 9 p.m. this evening for parts of Rusk as well as for parts of Panola counties. We do have, again, tornado warning that has just been issued further to the north and west. This one for parts of eastern Bowie, northern Miller, southern Little River County. That's in effect until 9 p.m. This evening. That is for this thunderstorm here, which is, again, right about in here. It looks like it's a little bit south of Maud. I should say west of Maud. See if we can get Redwater to pop on, and very close to Redwater. So it's crossing very close to the northern sections of Wright-Patman right now. And as we mentioned earlier, the east side of, or west side, I should say, the Texas side of Texarkana is where this could eventually end up going as it moves. And
yeah, I believe this is headed right towards Nash, right between Red Lick, Nash, and Texarkana.
Yeah, and then we have this secondary circulation, which is further to the south and west, a little bit to the west of Atlanta, excuse me, and Queen City. That is going to slide up towards Genoa. So all of this is going to bring quite a bit of wind to the Texarkana area. And again, this activity, as Josh mentioned, probably west of town as it moves towards Nash, Red Lick, and that part of Bowie County, and probably will stay a little bit to the east of Hooks, Texas, if you're watching in that part of the Arkansas, Texas. It looks like this is very close to Redwater, Texas right now as we speak. And again, just another quick update. We do have this tornado, which is now north of Ben Lomond. Here's Lockburg. So it looks like this is going to pass a little bit to the south and east of Lockburg. And eventually, see if I can put this into motion here to kind of show us exactly how this is headed. So you can see where it has been and where it's going. So it looks like this is going to come close to Dirks, maybe a little bit south and east of town. Yeah. If you're in Dirks, be in your place of safety. Center Point, anywhere in that. Go ahead, Josh.
I would say more towards Center Point, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. South and you can see down towards probably somewhere in this area is what we're looking at. It's crossing. I believe that is, I was going to say 371, but obviously I'm wrong. 278. I knew it was a three-letter road number. But anyway, that's where it's going. We'll soon cross 371 here, probably very close to the Little River, I believe, is where that is. That's not the Little River. I don't know what that is that feeds. But anyway, that is where that is going, up towards Dirks, Center Point, and the middle part of Howard County. And notice that this warning is flashing purple. That tells you that this is confirmed. We do have confirmation since this warning has been issued of something on the ground. And being this far away from the radar, to have a signature that is this defined, if you will, and obvious, tells you that the chances are good that we still have something on the ground with that particular storm. You can kind of see, as I have this in motion, you can kind of see, notice how that rotation here, you can kind of see how it becomes less defined, very strong. This is where we had, I believe, the debris ball and how that has gone away as it has moved up towards Wright-Patman. Much harder to tell exactly where that is, more than likely passing very close to Redwater there along U.S. Highway.
Yeah, right between near Maud and Redwater.
Yeah, is where that it looks like it's going. And
it is really weakened, so hopefully it continues to do that. Texarkana, you're in the warning right now, but again, we're not seeing that debris or the circulation that we saw earlier when there was some damage further to your southwest.
And you can clearly see that, Josh. Watch right here. You mentioned the weakening, how distinct that red and green were, and try to find it now. It's right about here. So It's clearly
and sometimes those tornadoes, you know, the circulation may die out, but a lot of the wind from the top of the storm, if you will get pulled down to the ground. So you can still get some damaging straight line winds with these that are in excess of 60 miles per hour, and that's definitely enough to do some damage as well.
And let's take a look at the camera, and you can see the rain has begun there in Texarkana. Just a look, doesn't look like it's very windy there as of yet. But we'll keep an eye on that camera, and we'll probably see a little bit more motion in these flags and the trees as the storms from those, the brunt of those storms, which are now to the south of Texarkana, make their way, excuse me, into that part of the Arklatex here moving forward. Excuse me. Yeah, go ahead, Josh. I'm going to let Josh.
Let's say, give you a little.
My voice needs a rest for a second.
Give you a little bit of a break here.
Yeah,
the newsroom's been calling around. We're going to be joined by Dan Jovic here in a moment just to give us an update on some of the damage that we've had across the Arklatex. He's been making calls, so he'll be able to give us an update on that. But just wanted to start with the storm up to the north here, and then we'll continue to move to the south. Again, this storm is crossing into Howard County. We believe this will probably be headed up towards Dirks as well as Center Point. So that we're still seeing the circulation with that one. I think very well could still have maybe a tornado on the ground there. Texarkana, if your cell phones have been going off for the tornado warning, both sides of Texarkana, both Bowie as well as Miller County. That rotation is weakened. I think this is going to be more of a straight line wind threat for the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. But mentioned a little bit earlier, sometimes these storms will cycle and then spin back up. So that will have to be something we have to watch. So if you're in Texarkana, Nash, Leary, Texas, and over towards Genoa, you're in that warning right now. Just be close to your place of safety in case you do need to go back in there. Also seeing a little bit of a rotation here on radar. We've been kind of watching this portion of the storm for the last hour. This is very close to Queen City as well as Atlanta. And you can see a little marker there on radar indicating there may be some circulation, but there's nothing with that would cause us any kind of concern right now. And further to the south, also the tornado warned storm. So again, we're watching 3 tornado warned storms at the moment here, and you can see just on radar, you see where the greens and reds come together. That's looking from the Shreveport radar side. So the green is the wind blowing the rain back towards Shreveport, and the red is the rain being blown away from the Shreveport. So we know there is some circulation there, but nothing that would indicate that we have anything that is on the ground or anything as far as debris. But this storm, again, is going to be headed up between Henderson as well as Long Branch, and then up towards Tatum as well as Beckville. And this warning goes until looks like 9 o'clock, so it would be between 8:45 and 9 o'clock that this eventual circulation would be up towards Tatum and Beckville. But I believe this is the storm here to kind of keep an eye on for the next 30 to 45 minutes. This one's still showing some very strong signs of rotation as well. We do have a few storms here that are currently not carrying any warnings with them, but you can see the little storm here near Longview kind of exhibiting that little hook that these other storms have exhibited before they've become tornado warned as well. This will be moving to the northeast, so this too will be headed up towards Marion County and into Cass County. So in Atlanta, we have that storm that's moving through right now, likely not producing a tornado, but we're still watching some of these storms to your southwest. And again, Texarkana beginning to see some of the heavier rainfall there at the moment, but we're still not seeing anything as far as the rotation trying to strengthen back. But you may notice where those greens and reds do come together here that potentially we're maybe seeing this storm trying to tighten back up there just over Highway 67. So again, this would be the portion of the storm that is headed into Nash as well as the Texarkana area here, and it may try to cycle back up. So I would urge folks there in Nash and Texarkana just to be in your place of safety, to be on the same side. Again, we're not seeing that same kind of debris on radar that we did earlier, but still possible that we do see a tornado maybe spin up here. And you can see in Texarkana, you'll get this circulation that moves by, and we still have some rain back to the west. So we are likely looking at some heavy rain, also maybe some hail in the Texarkana area for at least the next hour or so. And those would be the 3 storms here that we are kind of watching as far as the tornado warning. And again, the flashing purple box there indicating confirmed tornado with the storm moving up into Howard County. That's the one that has the history of producing some damage back there in northeast Texas. And you can definitely still see on radar that we are seeing some indications that the wind is still trying to rotate there. So this storm will be headed up towards Dirks as well as Center Point. Even if there's not a tornado there, still likely looking at some very high winds across the region here. I believe we do have Dan here on the news desk. Dan, are you ready to give us some of those updates? Let's go ahead and send it over to Dan Jovic here as an update. Been making some calls and does have some updates on some of the damage. And what are you hearing, Dan?
All right, Josh, thank you very much for that. I just want to let everybody know we've been making phone calls to the surrounding sheriff's offices and many county officials to find out who is sustaining storm damage due to all of these hurricanes that are blowing through the area. The most serious area, and Josh and Todd have been telling you about it, is in McCurtain County. The emergency management director says there is plenty of damage in the northwest part of the county and multiple damaged homes on the east side of Idabel. They have told us flat out everyone needs to stay away from the area. That area is not safe right now. It is why you're not seeing our crews out in the field as well, because with these storms blowing through, it's simply not safe for them to broadcast. Once the storms move through, our crews will then move to those areas and then show you specifically how bad things ultimately are. It appears McCurtain County has taken a direct hit, and the emergency management official has told everyone, again, stay away from there. I've got a phone call into Morris County. The sheriff's office there says they have received many phone calls. Their sheriff's deputies have been dispatched to assist with damage in that area. They would not confirm or deny that injuries have taken place, but Morris County is working many phone calls at this time due to this storm. Thankfully, though, Titus County, no damage is being reported in that area. They say they're willing to assist in the surrounding counties, but they appear to have not taken the brunt of this, Josh.
I mean, you said Morris County, they are getting reports of the damage?
They are getting reports of damage. Multiple deputies are out to assist with damage in the area, but they would not confirm or deny if anyone has been injured.
Gotcha. Thank you for that update, Dan. That would be with the same storm that's now moving up into Howard County. Still seeing a little bit of rotation with that one, and then we'll send it back over to Todd here in just a moment. But you can see there is still some rotation indicated here between Locksburg and Nashville, headed up towards the Center Point area. We are far away from the radar here, so it wouldn't be likely that we would still see that kind of debris ball that we did see with the storm earlier. So very well could still have a tornado on the ground here. So this would be crossing Highway 371 at the moment. Looks like it will probably move up towards Center Point and Dirks, and that will likely occur. You can go ahead and put a quick track on that just to give you an idea of when this may be moving over to those locations. But you can see Dirks, they're showing about 8:46, currently just after 8:25. So you do have about 15 minutes or so to get ready for that storm in Dirks, and then likely over to Center Point just a little bit before that. So maybe about 10 to 15 minutes before that makes its way to Center Point. And before we send it back to Todd here, just wanted to give you an update on the storm in Texarkana. Still seeing the indications of rotation there with the storm in Texarkana, but it is really broadened out. So just looking at it now, not likely that we're seeing anything tornadic there, but a reminder that you are still in that warning, and that warning does push all the way up into Arkansas right along I-30 there. So we will continue to keep an eye on that. Before we send it back, just wanted to take a peek at those storms in Rusk County. Still seeing some indications that we have some rotation there near Minden. That would be Minden, Texas, not Minden, Louisiana. And again, this storm will be headed up towards Tatum as well as Beckville. So that's kind of a recap of everything that is going on right now. And you'll notice the storms back to the west, moving out of the Dallas area. That would be the actual cold front that we are watching back to the west. Again, the cold front will eventually catch up to these storms out ahead of it, but we currently don't have any warnings with those storms that are back to the west, moving out of the Canton area and kind of approaching Tyler. So that's a bit of good news for now, and you can see a lot of the damage reports that have popped up as well. Each one of those red icons indicating where we've had reports of any kind of tornado or tornado damage across the region, and a number of wind and hail reports back towards Dallas, but so far in the Arklatex, no reports of damaging straight line winds or hail, but so far all of our tornado reports this evening have been tornado reports. So it's just kind of a recap of everything that's going on right now. Todd, are you back over there?
I'm over here, Josh.
There you go. Let me send it back over to you.
You were on a roll, so I didn't want to interrupt you. But we are looking at, you mentioned that storm there in Texarkana. That is the one that recently moved through Hughes Springs, and we have confirmation from fire department rescue reports significant damage inside the city limits of Hughes Springs. So it's quite likely that we had a tornado pass very close to Hughes Springs, Texas. Also, Weather Service also noting that it looks like the front is starting to undercut these storms. That may be one reason why we're seeing this storm here that's approaching Texarkana weaken somewhat. So that doesn't mean we're out of the woods, but nonetheless, that could be a sign as to why that we have seen that, at least that storm, weaken somewhat. Let's take it back up to the north here. This is by far the most impressive circulation that we have on the radar right now, as this is crossing out of Sevier County and moving into the central sections of Howard County. This is a tornado warning. Again, the purple box means confirmed tornado, and this will pass very close to center point and then cross 278 here between Dirks and Center Point. So that is where this tornado is going to be going. If you live anywhere from Dirks to Center Point and eventually upstream up towards, this is Daisy, this is Lake Greason. If you know someone who's there this weekend, let them know that we have a tornado which possibly could impact that part of southwest Arkansas. And again, this is moving very close to Center Point. And let's take another look and zoom this back out and show you a look at the traditional radar with the storms that are moving into the Texarkana area. In fact, you can see the very heavy rain right now in Texarkana. Look at the camera there in Texarkana, and you can see the heavy rain which is falling. A little bit of windy conditions, kind of hard to see the flag out there right now, and it looks like the tree is bouncing pretty good, but very heavy rain right now in the Texarkana area, and you're probably experiencing the worst part of the storms that you will experience here during the night. And give us a good half hour or so, maybe a little bit longer, and we should see some improving conditions there in Texarkana. Back to the west, since we have had quite a bit of damage here in McCurtain County, especially in Idabel, you can see that there's really not just the worst of the storms have passed. Have a little bit of rain back to the south and west here, southwest of Clarksville. That is going to work its way your way, but it's kind of doubtful of that in case you may have some crews out trying to get, say, power restored. We still have a little bit of rain out there. Speaking of power, let's give you a look at how these storms are impacting the power issues across the region. And you can see the numbers as I stop this here. This is the button need to stop it. So you can see anywhere there's red, that's where we have at least 5,000 power outages. You can see on the scale here. So let me grab and show you exactly what we're looking at. So 5,500 there in Bowie County. Cass County is seeing quite a bit, as well as you can see the number 2,000. We've had that strong storm that moved through parts of Red River County, 3,000, and again 1,000 in McCurtain County. So we do have numerous power outages across, especially with the storms moving through Texarkana and a more populated area. The power outages are beginning to mount.
You can really see the weather in Texarkana. If you go to the camera right now, we're getting where that circulation's moving through. You get a really good view of just what the wind and rain is like under these storms.
Yeah, there you go. You can clearly see the wind has picked up. Notice that tree right there. So this is the view from the Texarkana New Holland camera there. This is looking back towards Texas High from our bureau there on Summerhill Road. And you really can't, this is across the street. You can't see Texas High. That's how hard it's raining there in the Texarkana area. And Josh, you may want to keep an eye on that, the observation station at the airport there.
Yeah, I will.
You see if they may mention it too, as far as any gusts that we get from the airport, because that's going to be an indication, as we'll probably see, as Josh has alluded to earlier, straight line winds become more of an issue with this activity as it progresses its way across the rest of the region. We can see lots of lightning, Very heavy rain right now in Texarkana. In fact, let me turn off the power outage numbers and show you the radar here and kind of give you a sense on what we're looking at. So again, we have the strongest part of the storms right now in Texarkana. We do have a tornado warning that is currently in place, but it's kind of hard to see. I really don't see anything that's really left to indicate anything too pressing as far as any tornadic activity. So based on that trend, it's kind of doubtful that we'll see that extended further to the north and west. We do have a couple of rotations worth watching here in Cass County, but nothing present, or at least too pressing at the present time. And you can see further to the south, no warnings currently in place, but this is the cell here, which is now northeast of Minden, Texas, which is going to move up towards Beckville and maybe up towards Tatum. Between Tatum and Beckville is where we will see this, and probably move closer to Beckville than to Tatum as it, again, moving towards the northeast. All these about 40, 45 miles per hour has been the speed at which they have been moving, and that motion is likely going to continue in terms of the speed. So if this were to continue that speed, and let's say that it were to continue to pose a threat of tornadic activity, let's go ahead and kind of give you a sense on when it's going to threaten certain areas. So that looks like it's about 20 minutes away from Beckville. So that puts it about 9 o'clock from that part of Cass County. If it continues that progress, we'll see it cross very close to Scottsville here a little bit before, actually 9:30 is when that could move into the Scottsville area. And let me clean this off and zoom out some more, and we'll be able to look further into northwest Louisiana. So we'll see when this is going to be arriving here. It's been, over the last couple of days, it looked like 10, 11 o'clock is when we would see things begin to impact Shreveport and Bossier City. So we said an hour from here. It could cross the Red River between Houston and Plain Dealing, is what it looks like if the motion continues, and that's what a little bit more than an hour and a half, so that would be about 10 o'clock, and then it would eventually move up towards Magnolia, but we're talking a couple of hours before. And again, that's given the time of the evening, it's doubtful that this will still be as strong as it is now by the time it gets up here. But still, that's the path that this could take. And if we have any tornadic issues in northwest Louisiana, this probably, more than likely, will be the cause of it. But it really does look like that we could be looking at the wind from this line becoming more of an issue. And in fact, let me take this off, and I'm going to talk more about that cell in that possible tornado in Howard County here in a second. But I want to kind of project things forward here an hour, because this is going to take things closer to 10 o'clock. So again, this is Futurescan moving their radar forward an hour. So we'll start to see, again, the rain get closer to Shreveport between 9:30 and 10, and we probably will see sometime between 10 and 11 o'clock the thunderstorms increase in Shreveport and Bossier City. Again, Texarkana experiencing more than likely the worst that you're going to get right now, and you will see conditions improve here during the next, say, half hour to an hour. You should start to see conditions improve more rapidly in your part of the Arklatex. As far as rainfall, haven't touched on that very much. Let's give you a look at the rainfall aspect of things. And we have seen, again, the heaviest rain over the northwestern sections of the area where we anticipated that it would fall. And you can see these swaths of yellow. That's where the radar has picking up a good 2+ inches of rainfall. And the chances of seeing those amounts of rain will be highest here in northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, as well as parts of southwest Arkansas, although farther to the east you probably will not get as much. And you can see that light green is a ½ inch, the darker greens are an inch. So we're going to pick up a quick inch, ½ inch to an inch with this line as it moves into the area. All right, let's go back to the radar and give you another update on the two areas which are rotating right now across the Arklatex. And this one, we still have a tornado warning that is currently in place. Let's see if we can take a look at the velocity scan of the radar and show you exactly where we're looking at. This is the storm right in here. It looks like it has crossed Highway 278, I believe that is, there between Center Point and Dirks. So Dirks, it looks like the tornado here has crossed to your south, closer to Center Point. It is going to eventually, as you can see here, here's Lake Greeson there in Pike County. We will see this move out of Howard County and move up towards Lake Greeson. I believe Daisy State Park is up in this particular part of Pike County there along Lake Greeson. So that, especially the southern half of the lake, could be impacted with that. That's outside of our viewing area, but I figured I'd, in case you know someone who is at the lake, may want to let them know that this is coming to their particular part of the area. So that's what's left of that particular cell. Again, notice that we do not have any more warnings for the line. Just take that back. We just had a severe thunderstorm warning, which is encouraging, but still not a tornado warning. So we're seeing this more than likely evolve into a damaging straight-line wind threat. And this could be, we could be looking at winds here that could gust upwards of 60, 70 miles per hour as they move further to the east. And this is going to track through Louisville, northern Miller County, Hope, Prescott, Ralston. Wind probably going to be the biggest concern. Don't think we'll see much as far as hail. That's one thing we really haven't looked at very much recently. Let's go back to the radar here. You can see the progress of this line. You can kind of see a little bit of bowing here, so that could be a sign that we could see the wind intensify as that line continues to accelerate towards the north and west. And keep in mind, as this becomes more of a line, that we still could have little notches that form where we start to see a little bit of spin. That's something that we're going to watch a little bit closer here, as it looks like this is becoming more of a line as opposed to the discrete cells that we were watching earlier. So that is the latest warning that has been issued, a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that warning is in effect until, I believe, 9:30 there for Miller, Lafayette, northern Columbia, Nevada, and the southern half of Hempstead County is where that severe thunderstorm warning is currently in place. Looking at the thunderstorms moving into Atlanta, you are barely in that warning, so you're probably looking at the potential for some gusty winds, which could cause some issues there in Atlanta, Texas. Notice no warnings further to the south. You can see in Marshall, we have seen the rain associated with the storms that we were watching to our south that are now making their way into the Marshall, Texas area. Let's take a quick peek at the camera there in downtown Marshall. Since the rain is moving, let's see how conditions are being impacted there. And you can see there is a flag here on the courthouse. Doesn't look like I can see too much motion with it, and we still have decent visibility. So it is raining in Marshall, and a little bit of lightning, as you can see here, but not as windy, definitely, and the rain not as heavy yet as it was earlier there in the Texarkana area. So Marshall, you're just starting with the heavier rains, and he's got plenty of that down to the south. You can see what's left of one of our two tornado warnings. This is the cell, which is now, that is, as we mentioned, moving towards Beckville. So let me stop the radar and kind of give a sense on exactly the location of our possible tornado here. So again, I say possible because it hasn't been confirmed. Try to zero in, make sure I click the right product here. There we go. So you can kind of see our cylinder. Again, these have been popping up, and usually shortly thereafter we get some confirmation of some issues because of what very well could have been a tornado. And you can see, you got to zoom in close here, right in our cylinder. Try to zoom right down. You can kind of see the County Line Road. Unfortunately, it's right over the rotation there, but let's try to get some roads to pop in further downstream. Doesn't look like the radar is going to cooperate, but this is going to come very close to Beckville, also close to Arbor. So this is probably of the rotations that we have, the strongest that we have right now. And just moving.
I believe we see some debris with that one now.
You do?
It does line up with where the circulation is on velocity there. So maybe just the beginning of a debris ball, but might want to take a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So. Again, what we look for here is, I showed you the rotation. You might recall how it was right within the cylinder, and now we have this showing up very close to that rotation. So that could be a confirmation. We very well could see this red box change over to purple. And you folks in Beckville, in this part of Panola County, keep an eye on this, as this very well could move into your area. And let me go ahead and move this. I don't know if you're going to see it too well here, but you can kind of see in the last couple of scans there that this is going to come very close to Beckville. And just to kind of give a sense on timing again, moving northeast at 45, assuming it's right there. Quick math here in my head. Gosh, it's getting too late. 45, so let's say that we're looking at about 10 minutes or so. We'll see it move into the Beckville area. So in just a few minutes, it's not very far away. It'll arrive in Beckville and then continue to slide its way up towards southern Harrison County, eventually here into the eastern sections of Harrison County. And as I mentioned, northern Caddo Parish and northern Bossier Parish could be in play with this possible tornado. Again, this not confirmed yet as far as debris, but it does match up with the what we're seeing there with the rotation aspect of things as well, in terms of matching up with where the spin is in the atmosphere. And that is probably the strongest of the rotations that we have across the area. Let's go back and show you the velocity with the storm that we've been watching here that has moved across. Again, this is the one that passed very close to New Boston and then moved across Little River County, and it is now, looks like it's moving out of Howard County and is moving into the heart of Pike County, and should pass fairly close to Lake Greason. So it looks like this threat, as far as that rotating storm, is ending for Howard County. And as far as that part of the Arklatex goes, you do have some heavy rain right now in Nashville, but again, maybe some gusty winds, but doesn't look like it's going to pose too much of a severe weather threat for Nashville. Ashdown's been getting some heavy rain. You got one more band to move in through, and then you're pretty much done. You can see not much left to the west. You can see in Texarkana we do have the heavy rain which continues to move through. Severe thunderstorm warning for this part of the line here, which is going to impact Hope, Prescott, Ralston, Willisville, Louisville, Stamps, all locations that could see wind gusts upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour with this cluster of thunderstorms that is moving east across southwest Arkansas. Heavy rain right now extends from Queen City, Atlanta, down towards Jefferson, and also some heavy rain in Marshall. But notice we don't have any boxes on this part of the line, so this is more than likely below severe limits, just some decent rain. So it looks like Jefferson, even Marshall, Longview, Gilmer, even though Gilmer had some strong storms earlier, pretty much dodging the bullet from the worst of this activity as we speak. So we have two areas of concern right now. We have this cluster of storms, which is producing a straight line wind threat. That's going to impact southwest Arkansas. And then we have this line of storms, most of it in East Texas, not severe, but at the bottom of it, we do have this rotating storm, which is just now moving into parts of I should say Panola County, and is going to pass very close to the Beckville area here fairly shortly as it moves towards the north and east. Have to keep an eye on this, the activity back down to the south as well. You can see another storm that has developed south of Rusk there in Cherokee County. That is the configuration of this is worth watching. This could be a cell that, if it continues to get going, just to make a point here, here's Shreveport. This could be the one that impacts us if it were to manage to continue to strengthen and maybe develop into. Now, the thing that may happen is we have this line that's going to be rushing in. That could save us. So the chances of that getting here before the line catches it looks to be promising. That we will.
It looks like the gust within the line in Texarkana, the gust was about 50. So 50. Severe thunderstorm would be once you get up to 60. So we had about 50. We'll still do some damage, but it looks like the winds there with the storms in the severe thunderstorm warning probably somewhere between 40 and 60 miles an hour.
All right. Thanks, Josh, for that update. So 50 confirmed with this line up here, excuse me, to the north. That is moving, especially the strongest part of this near and south of Interstate 30 there in southwest Arkansas is where that's going to be a bit of an issue. But again, we have this rotating storm here, probably the only one left, and it looks like the tornado warning has expired with that. And so we are now tornado warning free. So with that being said,
just might want to clear some of those areas back to the west. We know we have some of our reporters are headed out now that the danger has subsided west of Texarkana, so we know they'll be stopping in Clarksville, maybe the New Boston area to check in on some of the damage there, and then head over to McCurtain County. Understandably, I know a lot of folks probably heading out to help out with storm cleanup. The danger, at least the threat of severe weather, is over in McCurtain County. Still have some rain, some storms that may come through Red River County, but right now it looks like any danger there has pretty much come to an end.
And Josh, I was going to mention for everyone watching in the back, we're getting close to 9 o'clock. We'll stay on board here until 9, and then we'll kind of go to normal, since we're now tornado warning free for the most part. We will go to the normal Fox broadcast at 9, but we'll stay on the air here until we get to that point. And then we'll continue everything over on Fox. So that is the plan as of right now. So just kind of a quick summary as to what we're going to be looking at. Again, we do have, the line of storms. So far, we have one warning associated with this line. These storms, as Josh just mentioned, did post or create a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Texarkana Regional Airport. Likely has the potential of producing some gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. It's still possible, so we could have some reports of wind damage. You can see further to the south that the line itself below severe limits. We did have this particular thunderstorm here that was rotating, just moving into Panola County. That particular tornado warning has expired, and we have another cell. Notice the white box here. That is a special weather statement for a storm that's strong, but more than likely below severe limits in that particular part of the Arklatex. But this is a cell worth watching, as this is the part of the line which is probably going to make its way into the Shreveport Bossier City metropolitan area here in the next, probably talking about hour and a half or so, between 10 and 11 o'clock. We'll see this move into the Shreveport area as far as the overall line itself. So it looks like we have passed, just based on the current trends in the radar. We're not quite out of the woods totally yet as far as the tornado threat, but it looks like we have probably seen the worst that we're going to see in terms of especially numbers of tornado warnings, and especially the intensity of the rotations that we have experienced here. Now, it's still possible within this line that we could see a few areas where a rotation develops, but as I mentioned, it looks like we have probably seen the worst that we're going to see. As Josh just alluded to earlier, we have had the confirmation of quite a bit of damage in Idabel from a tornado that moved through there. We have had damage in Hughes Springs. As far as, again, quite a bit of damage, more than likely in spots in Red River County as well from that same storm. You might be getting out and trying to begin the cleanup process, but keep in mind we do still have a little bit of rain back to your south and west. So after the next couple of hours, you should be pretty much done if you're concerned about dealing with any more severe weather. It does look like the worst for those parts of the Arklatex impacted by the tornadoes here this evening. The worst is definitely over. So that is the current scenario as we speak. Let me take you forward here, and then we'll send you back to regular programming on NBC6. Just a quick update on how this is going to play out. During the next couple of hours, we will see, again, the line continue to slide its way towards the east. You can see the thunderstorms here at 9 o'clock. The HR model has a good handle. By 11, we're going to be dealing with the rain between 10 and 11. But by 11, the worst probably over in Shreveport. Severe weather will be possible, but it looks like more of a wind threat and maybe a little bit of a hail threat. And then we'll see by the time we get to 1 o'clock, we should be done with the rain for most of us, with, again, the thunderstorms over the south and eastern sections of the area. So with that being said, I'm going to send NBC, actually let's send everybody back to regular programming. Stay tuned tonight at 9 on Fox 33 if you're watching there. We'll have more coverage on the impacting weather across the Arklatex. And of course, break into all stations as conditions warrant, as thunderstorms continue to move across the heart of the Arklatex. But it does look like the worst perhaps is over, but we're not out of the woods yet. Again, we'll continue our coverage at 9 on Fox 33.